Welcome back to Sports Card Culture Podcast number 20. Today is March 30th, 2021, John. Big week in the hobby.
Yep.
Lots going on. Baseball's starting on Thursday.
Mm-hmm. Me and Evan are hyped.
Hyped.
Well,
I haven't even looked at the Twins. Who do the Twins start with? They're at Milwaukee, I think, right? They're at a series at Milwaukee, which that should be fun.
Who's opening day starter? I saw that.
Maeda. He was number 2
Maeda?
last year, by the way, in the Cy Young.
Okay.
Voting in the AL.
Oh, yeah.
Behind,
he killed it.
behind Shane, not Justin Bieber.
And then did you see Randy Dobnak sign a 5-year?
That's a lot. Wow.
Yeah.
$9 million.
I don't understand that. Do you?
A bunch of incentives. It's only $9 million guaranteed.
Oh, okay.
Oh, really?
I mean, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's I think.
Well, that's great. That's a
the way,
great
the way,
contract
I mean, the
then.
way you end up structuring them is a big part of it. I mean,
yeah.
But
you get 5 years out of a talented pitcher,
yeah,
He had a really good
and you
season.
don't have to pay
and
him.
at a discount. Now, the other big news. Do we want to jump right into two big things this week? Wednesday, tomorrow. You're probably going to be listening to this, and it'll be later than Wednesday. Is Prism Basketball
Yep.
Hobby release day? We've actually I saw today the first Prism retail in the wild.
Yep.
We had some hangers walk in. I don't know how somebody got 10 of them and they didn't get killed. What's your over-under, John, on how many fights in Minnesota are going to happen over Prism Basketball
that guy
retail?
got 10 because the manager backdoored him. I mean,
He had to pay for it, for sure.
I mean,
he
or
absolutely.
he bought him off somebody who got him backdoored. I mean,
Yeah, you don't get 10 Prism
no.
hangers
Not
without
anymore.
knowing someone or paying someone.
Well, in Minnesota, I know Edina was late in limiting. And then there's a couple other stores that were late because that's the store manager's decision, not Target Corporate.
So now Target, the sign that's up in Savage, all our guys have told us, is Friday at 8 a.m. is now the sports card release day. They give out numbers, and it's one item per person. And somebody told me they went in last Friday. They got there before 8.
Yeah.
Guess what number they were online?
Huh.
44. They were the 44th person in line at like 7:45.
How many Targets in a 10-mile radius?
Yeah, I mean, there's Burnsville with a couple-mile shock. I mean, there's.
So there might be 800 people in line in the Twin Cities.
Because, I mean, my guess is Prism blasters right out of the gate are going to be $300. $250 or $300.
But I got something I mentioned earlier when we talked.
And you can buy them for $20. So that's some serious, markup.
But we talked about this earlier. So, Topps opening day.
Yes.
Right, and Topps Big League.
Mm-hmm.
Two of the lowest end baseball products made. Period.
Yeah, I mean, opening day is
there
made.
anything lower?
Nope. Opening day is essentially made for kids.
Yeah, Big League.
It's the only thing I'm aware of where you can open. It's 36 packs a box, and it's like 60. It's under $2 a pack.
Right.
Yeah.
No, Big League is cheaper.
Big League can be $1 a pack depending on how they configure it. Yeah.
So this is so as you know, I don't get much allocation.
But that's changing.
And well, it's changing, but in a weird way because I got shut out of opening day, and I got shut out.
Which is a product that I think they probably have quite a bit of.
Well, here's the thing: I got shut out of opening day, I got shut out of Big League, but I got a box of Prism Basketball. That makes sense.
That's
no, I'm not sad about that.
You're not gonna.
I mean, if you're gonna give
me
the option, that's the option I want to go.
You're not ripping it, right?
No. I think I'm gonna do I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do that box plus my encase that I want to see open, and I'm gonna do a draft with so it's 12 plus 5, 17 people, so you can be under like a couple $100.
Yep.
And then we can open the encase box, and you can pick a pack or one of the cards that came out of the encase. And do a live draft.
So everybody gets a pack and one card?
So it's 12 packs plus 5 cards in the encase. So 17 people, and then we randomize the draft order.
It's a hit draft.
So you can go one of the cards out of the encase, or you can grab a pack of Prism.
No, wait. So the Prism won't be open then?
Yeah, the Prism, a sealed pack of Prism or one of the hits.
Well, the number one pick should probably take the best encased card.
Oh, yeah, probably.
I mean,
but you
sense.
never know.
Yeah,
but here's the thing. Here's what's funny about it. Like, I like doing these because you can see people's soul, like, cracking apart trying to make a decision. They're like, well, that guy, that's a rookie.
So you like...
That's a patch out.
So are you saying you like cracking people's
No, but what would
souls?
happen is, like, what if there's an encased card that's, like, 200... Or let's say there's an encased card. Let's say packs are 200 a pack, right? Not quite, but let's say they are.
Yeah,
let's say they are.
Yep, close.
And there's a card worth 200. Let's say a card worth 250.
Yeah.
there might be people still wanting to open the $200 pack of cards because there could be a $10,000 card in the pack.
Right.
And I want to watch them suffer.
I mean, if you pulled, I'll be honest, if you pulled the LeBron James black,
Yeah.
1 of 1, it would be 25,000.
So my question
So I
is,
mean, you could
see,
pull a legitimately you could pull
Yeah.
$100,000 card.
That's what I'm saying. I want to see how expensive the
Like a
encased
one-
card
one-of-one
have to
second
be
design.
before they take the encased card over a pack.
Yeah.
Before the
Now,
gambler.
but now here's where it gets real interesting. Big announcement today. PSA
Yeah.
is halting all
virtually
orders
all.
under the Super Express that's at 300.
Yeah,
Is that right?
I think so. 250.
So-
300.
That is so interesting because the timing of that with Prism Hobby being released means this class of Prism, this product,
Yeah.
we won't see. Oh, so if they can't send it in until July, and it's still, let's say by the time.
By the way, July 1st, they're trying to target to open it back up.
So if they open back up in July, and let's say it takes still 6-8 months, we're literally not looking at anything graded out of this Prism being
Right.
back.
Other than
by
monster
PSA.
cards. Like,
Unless it's
like
a walkthrough.
one-on-ones,
Yep.
there's going to be LaMelo auto
Silvers or
25. Those will
Yeah,
get
yeah.
sent
What
$300.
about the Donruss stuff, though?
Yeah,
That was
Donruss
sent.
stuff, there's not that much being
Yep.
sent in already.
Yeah, so I
Well-
mean, this is going to be a very unique. Here's what I think it
Nothing's
does.
going to be at the National, dude.
I know. Well, and here's what it does though. It increases the value of the people who sent graded cards in previously
But
that
they're
are going to
not
be.
going to get them back.
No, they're going to keep getting. No,
I
grading
understand that,
orders
but
are
they're
going to
still
keep
not
coming
gonna
back.
get them back.
No,
for-
No, but I'm saying if you sent cards not 8 months ago,
yeah,
you're
yeah.
going to be getting those next month. And the good thing is, there's going to come a point where this delay, there's a window of less cards coming back,
Yeah.
which is going to mean less supply, which is going to mean better prices.
But here's
Yeah.
the thing. Doesn't SGC pick up a ton of business off of Prism basketball?
I wouldn't, not from me.
Isn't
But
there
I mean, they might.
But isn't there a big opportunity where people are sending in, and it's the only thing on the market? It's the only thing setting the market. There's no PSA
Yeah.
to counter it with.
Yeah. No.
There's no PSA to
or
counter
or
it.
some Beckett stuff.
So it's not even out yet. Well, what Beckett? Beckett what? Beckett's worse than PSA.
No, not on the Super Express. You can still
So,
send.
fair enough. But
You
we're,
can still
again,
send
we're
them at-
talking
yeah.
about Anthony Edwards the 5. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about silvers.
Yeah, we're talking about. I mean, some people might do like the 10-day for like LaMelo silvers.
$100.
No, it's not 300. There's like $120 service that's still
But you
available.
can't use that.
No, for Beckett you can.
Oh, for
Beckett's not
Beckett?
changing
And then
anything.
how quick is Beckett get back on 10 days?
Couple months, 3 months.
Okay,
maybe.
all right, fair enough.
Now their standard
still-
2-day,
yeah.
their 2-day, which is like a month,
Yeah,
is like $250. So that's not going to be used except for the very
yeah.
high.
But that's
end,
what I'm
yeah.
saying. So you get lower end Prism. I think SGC just gets a bunch of business.
Yeah.
And they
Now,
raise
but
their
now,
prices,
keep in
too.
mind, just because PSA is not taking more cards, their whole point is getting caught up. Meaning, there's going to be a ton of cards coming back that are already there. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, everything
well,
that's in
here's the
queue.
thing, the people that are unloading or unboxing the submission,
Yeah.
they're not grading the cards too. You know what I mean? So if somebody working in shipping isn't also a grader. So
Right.
I don't know. I thought about that. I don't know how much additional capacity they can have just by making the shipping department have less work or get their work done.
Well, what it
Think if you
does
had a
is
grading company, would you have somebody working shipping and then go, oh, you're done with shipping? Go grade some cards. Or are they just
no.
shipping?
I'm sure they're so overwhelmed that it's not like the shipping guys are going to go, oh, we don't have anything to do. It's like they're
No, I understand
literally
that, but what I'm saying is,
they're
how does that
taxed.
speed up grading?
No, all it
Just
does.
yeah.
But no, what it does is it helps them chip away at the backlog instead of the backlog getting
No,
bigger.
you think maybe there's backlog than shipping
Oh.
itself?
Massive backlogs. Massive backlogs on both ways. I've had cards that got done that didn't get shipped out for a week. That's very
Oh, okay,
abnormal. That's
okay.
very abnormal.
That might be very true then.
So stuff could get out within a couple days, which is normal.
So maybe the shipping department's falling behind.
Oh, it's everything is. They're literally so maxed out. It's not
Yeah.
even.
All right, then that might speed it up then.
Yep.
You know, if it is a shipping bottleneck too on the
Yeah.
way out.
For sure.
Because fair enough. So if they're unboxing
Yep.
and they're gonna ship out, they are gonna do both.
So they're not going to be having any more coming in, which is going to
Right.
help them just focus on getting out. Yep.
Okay. Well,
Which, by the way, fun random point. The card that we talked about on the podcast that I sold to Nat Turner, he just got it back from PSA and he posted it on his Instagram. And it got an 8, the David Wesley 101. But he literally just posted it and I pulled it. I had randomly
he
looked at
tag
his
you?
Instagram. He didn't, no, but
You should send him a
I
message.
should
Say,
send
hey,
him,
tag
yeah,
me,
yeah,
you
yeah.
dummy.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
You know, make an enemy out of him right now.
Yeah. Just like, you guys are doing great.
He's like, oh, okay, let me pull up all your orders. I'm a dummy, huh? So I got a couple little stories, and then we got a big story.
Yeah, we got
Got a fun one coming up.
It's a doozy.
So I was talking to Annie. The story's doing well, and I'm projecting out. And one of the things I want to do, once we can pay off the debt in the store, I want to bring Kirby to Disneyland or Disney World. Sorry.
Which is California, not
Florida. No,
Florida.
Florida, not
Florida,
California.
not California. Yeah. Okay.
California Disneyland's like the Kmart of Disney World, right? It's like it's Valley Fair basically. But I want to do it right.
Yep.
$10,000 budget, stay in the resort.
Yeah.
Money for buying pins at the different this pin collecting that goes on there.
Yeah.
And just do it right. Do 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
We're gonna drive there.
2 weeks.
No. We're gonna drive there. Stop in a couple different cities on the way there. Stay for a week. Drive back. Couple different cities on the way back, and just have an epic 2-week vacation. And we'll never do it again. Right.
Nice.
That's gonna be Kirby's one vacation.
Yep.
So I tell Annie, I'm feeling, the business is going. I can
Yeah.
project. I mean, the business is still, in the startup, but I can project out.
Yeah.
And I go, I want to do it when Kirby turns 11, and she's turning 8 on Sunday, Easter Sunday.
Nice.
And so we got 3 years, save up 10 grand, 12 grand, 9 grand, whatever it's gonna cost. And so I sat down. I just kind of wanted to chat with Annie about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, hey, I just want to talk a little bit about Disney World. We've been talking about it for the last couple of years. And Annie goes, Disney Cruise, please. And I go, what? I go, no, we want to go to Disney World. She goes, yeah, I know, but I want to do the Disney Cruise. And I said, what are you talking about? And she goes, there's a Disney. I know there's a Disney Cruise, but it doesn't stay at Disney World. And she goes, sure it does. I go, there's a massive ship in some weird harbor next to Disney World, and you sleep on the ship, and then you go to Disney World and go back to the ship at night? Do you take little trips around the harbor or something? And she goes, well, yeah. I go, no, it goes to Europe or something.
It's just a theme trip. It's
Yeah.
you're out in the ocean.
And she goes, nah, you're lying. She Googles it, and she goes, oh. And I'm just railing on her about, let's say that did exist, why would you want to do it?
Yeah.
And then she goes, oh, by the way, Disneyland's 100 miles inland.
Yeah. It is. Yeah.
So I said, yeah, I'm going to talk about this on podcast, because you're insane. But why would you want to do that? Why would you want to go on a ship? Let's say it was right in a harbor. You take a
You
spin
know
on
what?
the harbor.
You know what it is. The cruise is you have Mickey Mouse and everything's on there for the kids.
Hey, guess what? You know what else has Mickey Mouse? Disney World.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. Do you want to deal with rides and and lines and rides, or do you want to deal with?
No, but listen to what I'm saying. Yeah. She thought the boat was at Disney World and it stayed at Disney World. Never left.
I know.
And they spent $100 million on a boat to stay at Disney World.
Doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
No, not really.
Sorry, Annie. It's okay.
No. I married a blonde, and that's what happened.
Okay.
So I got
Classic.
one classic. I got one other little story. This is gonna pale in comparison. So what I'm doing here is I can't follow you. So I'm gonna do mine first.
I wish you were telling the story, not me. Trust me.
Right. I don't wish I was telling the story.
I wish I wasn't.
So I did get the world's most insane eBay buyer.
I love these
I
stories.
get an email from a buyer who bought a Herbert card from me. And I should have printed out the back and forth. He came at me so hot for making a mistake.
What was the mistake?
He goes, I wanted the yellow. You sent me the chrome. How dare you? I'm so unhappy. This is unbelievable. It's something I'm like, dude, it was a mistake, right?
Yeah.
And so I say, hey, I don't know why you're coming at me so hot, but put in a return and put not as described.
Yeah.
And I'll pay for the return shipping. I'm also gonna block you so I don't have to ever do business with you again. But I don't know why you're starting out so hot. So then I sent that off, and then I'm in the store and I go, let me go pull my Herberts because I'm like, Chrome. I don't have a Chrome.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh yeah, I have a legacy Chrome, right? So I go take an audit. So I do variation listings. So if what I have matches within my listing, then I'm good.
You're good.
If I'm off, then I'm off. It's really easy. It's like counting your till down when you're off on your till if somebody made a mistake.
Yep.
If you think of a $20 mistake and you're off by $20, then you made a mistake. If you're on, then not. So I look at it and I go, well, I'm not missing anything. I have everything I should have.
What?
I go, okay, so I go to the sale. My customer bought a 2020 limited Justin Herbert number 4. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. I have the legacy Chrome, so it's not that. I look closer at the picture. So in limited, you know how I have that shiny foil?
Yep.
The flash made it look kind of yellow.
Oh my.
So he thought he was getting a yellow, and he called the base limited a chrome. Nobody would call it a chrome. He has the base limited. So I
and
go,
your pictures are so good that they actually make them look like refractors. So
there's
you're
a little yellow. I mean, we got a yellow tint on there.
Yeah.
And I go, hey, so I did an audit of my inventory, and it's like, you got the base card. That's what you ordered.
Yep.
And not only is this not a yellow, but the yellow, there's no such thing as a yellow.
Right.
There's no
the
such
card
parallel
the
as
card
a
you're
yellow.
thinking you got doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist.
Except
And
for in his imagination.
Then he responds to me and calls me a liar, tells me I intentionally tried to sell him a yellow. And I said, it doesn't even say yellow in the drop-down box. And, again,
you
sir,
got the card in the picture.
but again, sir, this card doesn't exist. The card you want me to send you does not exist. He goes, you're a liar. You can't. I said, I'll tell you what. Go on eBay.
And
Find a yellow. Find the highest priced yellow. I'll buy it for you. And so then I get a return, right? And it says the reason was did not like. Now, when you put did not like, that means I don't have to pay return postage.
Yeah.
I thought, okay, he figured it out. And I was feeling a little bad that I was hot with him back. Just a little. Because I'm like, come on, man. You don't start off that hot, right?
Yeah. Usually, like, if you let's just pause for a second.
Wait. I'm not done.
Okay.
I'm not done. You thought it was done.
This is gonna be a principle of.
So he put did not like, which means I don't have to pay return shipping. And I thought, okay, this guy realized he made a mistake. He's gonna do a return, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not gonna make me pay return shipping. 2 days later, I get an email from him. Where's the information to get postage? He didn't even fill out the return the way I told him to get the return shipping paid. Which, by the way, I shouldn't have to pay return shipping.
How much was this card?
$10.
Why even go through all that work?
$10.
Do you go through that much work for $10? Like, would you return? Let me ask this. I don't even know if I'd like. You have a Justin Herbert card in your possession for $10.
By the way, Herbert's card was $10.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like,
and here's the thing: is because he's like this, I can't even probe him to figure out what he was thinking. Like, I'm really like, hey, did you go on here and then think like I made a mistake and this was like a super rare yellow that nobody knew about, or
now
how did you find it? It doesn't say yellow.
I mean, he must be returning it now just out of like principle because like it doesn't make
what
sense.
Principle?
No, but like him like feeling like he needs to like I don't know.
Well, it's fine that he wants to return it, but I'm just like. But how did he even find it? It doesn't say yellow. It's a picture of yellowish foil.
Right.
How did you even find it? And how did you know to look for it? It's not in the checklist. I think he was looking at the pictures and said, oh, there's a yellow. And then he looked it up and said, there's no yellows available. It must be a super short print. This idiot is selling it for $10.
Wow.
And bought it, got the base, and was like, where's my yellow, you jerk? It doesn't exist. And I don't know. That's my fun eBay customer.
To be honest, like, I don't know, man. If I'm in that situation, do you ever think avoiding the conversation and just saying, "Hey, I'll send you a full refund, keep the card," is like a better?
No,
I can't even I can't even like
you can't
give them emotional energy. Like,
no, it wasn't. I mean,
you obviously
to
like
be
it.
honest
You
with
like
you,
it. I know.
No, it's
I know.
fun. Like I was like,
to me, it sounds It sounds.
This guy was such
stressful.
a jerk.
Yeah.
He was such a jerk, and he was so spectacularly wrong. I was like, nah, he deserves a little taste, right? But like, if he would have came out and said, "Hey, I thought I was getting a yellow," well, he called it a chrome, so he must be a new collector.
He must be a new collector. Yeah, he doesn't even know the terminology.
And he was a new collector that was trying to get over.
And so he thought you put one over on him.
Moron, right?
In his ignorance, he thought you got over on him, and he just didn't know what he was talking about.
Well, but when he bought it, he thought, "Oh, this guy is a super rare yellow.
Yeah,
I can't even find it." And then when he realizes like it indeed doesn't exist, it's like, "Oh, well, you just tried to get me for some crazy," which is fine. I'll still send it if I make a mistake. But like, what happens is you can't just let people be jerks and then get free stuff.
Right.
Like what? No, that's not a thing.
Yeah. What planet are we on?
Well, that's why. Whenever people try to shake me down over feedback, I'm like, leave the feedback.
Well, and here's my point: is this is a side point to anyone listening? If you're a buyer on eBay, and someone does make a mistake, the best thing to do is stay cordial and not like I've had people who I can tell they're in fear mode, and they start making all these threats. If you don't, and I'm like, let's just pause on that, and let's just have a normal cover. Like, I'm sorry. How can I make this right? Versus like the moment they go into that mode, both sides get defensive, and then it's like you can't resolve it as easily. You know.
When I make a mistake, I feel horrible.
Yeah, they don't need to tell me. I know.
Geez.
Oh, and I made plenty of them. We shipped the wrong card the other day for something. I'm just like, I told them, hey, I'll just ship you the right one. You keep that one.
I've done that plenty of times. Like, just keep.
It wasn't like a $100 card. It was
massive card. I guess maybe I need it back. But like, if it's like $10, like it was the Herbert, and let's say I did send him the right Herbert, and it was $10, I would have done just keep it. I'll send you the real card.
Exactly. No, that's exactly.
Like, I feel so bad that like I made that error.
Yeah. You
know, but it's this guy just started out like. Just self-assured.
That's exactly what not to do, really. I mean, if you think about how.
You say, "Hey, man, I got the wrong card. You know, did you? I mean, what's going on? You know."
Exactly.
All right, cool. You know, we'll figure it out. There's a scene from My Name Is Earl. It's my favorite scene. So, Randy goes to Mexico to marry Catalina because she's illegal immigrant and she wants to be an American citizen. And John Leguizamo is her cousin, and he's like that.
If anyone's actually following this story,
dude,
God bless
it's a
you.
great scene. Like, you should find it if you.
I should find it.
So they have all these like weird traditions, for getting married, and John Leguizamo is kind of teaching Earl like all their traditions, and he goes. There's a scene where Catalina's up on a chair, and there's a group of like 50 guys holding her up and kind of celebrating her. And Leguizamo, it's not verbatim, but Leguizamo was like, "We do this to show that the bride is the most beautiful, wonderful flower, and she should be respected at all costs." And it just goes on forever. And then they throw her off the chair, and he kind of looks at him and he goes, "That's so she doesn't get a big head about it."
Wow.
My favorite thing. She's like, that's so she doesn't get a big head. That's my favorite thing. My Name Is Earl.
I've never seen My Name Is Earl.
All right. It's a great show.
Sounds like it.
So, you had some good times on Friday. Go.
So, what time did I give you a call, John? Do you remember? Why don't you tell
Midnight,
people?
Maybe. I was working on
as I thought about all the people I could call at 1 a.m. who would answer the phone. And process a fun scenario. This is probably one of my.
I went home early that day, and I was working in the basement.
Nice. You're at home.
I was processing.
I didn't know if you were here or there. Nice.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is probably top 5 least favorite weeks, but this is part of what we sign up for when you sign up to run a business, and so.
Particularly retail.
We'll just dive right in. So Friday, for those of you who know, Mike is my business partner. What up, Mike?
What up, Mike?
Mike is on the way back from Florida as we speak. He's flying somewhere above the Midwest. He was in Florida for a week, so after I left, he left a couple days later. Yep. So he's gone. So I'm trying to hold the fort down. Dad's out of town, and we're trying to keep the house from blowing up.
Wait. Mike's dad. What are you?
I don't know. I'm like the brother.
He's a brother-in-law. He comes in when he feels like it.
I'm like, okay, now it's so and honestly, the reason this applies to the story is when both of us are there, it's actually a blessing because we're both carrying equal responsibility. But the danger of that is at times I think he's managing something that he thinks I'm managing, and
Yeah.
and there's stuff that gets missed in the
But
cracks.
you guys at this point are pretty good at figuring out your
Yeah,
role
we are.
within
No,
the
and we
business.
talk about it and stuff. But like, so for me, when I knew he was going, I was really excited for him, and I was also like, you know, that's an added like I need to step up and basically be at the shop,
Yeah,
kind of lock it. And I had some things I wanted to get done around the store, and so I was looking forward to it. So Friday comes, my nephew Dakota, who's 10, came down to the shop. We're open till 8 with a couple of his buddies for his birthday party. So I stayed late with him. They ended up leaving after
Oh, it's
8
funny. You
o'clock.
had a birthday party at the shop.
Yeah, he
That's
brings him
awesome.
to the shop. Yeah.
What else, my birthday
yeah,
party at a store?
he told his teachers that when he gets older, he wants to be like his Uncle Clint. So that's pretty fun. So his aunt, my sister-in-law,
Yeah.
like sends me all the stuff that he says about.
Oh,
He
yeah,
loves
yeah.
cards.
Okay.
He's into
Oh,
it.
that's
You know, he
awesome.
wants to own a card shop, whatever. So we've gotten him cards graded. He's getting into stuff, and so they came down, which was fun. So I leave the shop Friday at like 8 and go and play a little bit of poker at Canterbury for a couple hours and just kind of.
And just to be clear, Canterbury is a card room that's just down the road from there.
Poker room that lives, you know, it's about 3 miles. It's right
It
between.
lives there?
I'm sorry, I live 3 miles from the shop, and Canterbury's like a mile.
I
From
was gonna
where
say
I
I didn't realize the poker room was a living, breathing
It's
thing.
actually-
but
it's
okay,
actually
cool.
a place I live. So I'm there, and this is where it gets interesting. As I spent a couple hours playing, and I was doing fine. I was up a couple $100 or whatever, and I was like kind of tired, and I was just ready to leave. But kind of out of the blue, I had this feeling of like I need to get up and leave right now. And this rarely happens like this, where I literally like finish a hand. I'm just like I haven't
I've
thought
seen you
about
at
like.
a casino,
Yeah.
and that is a rare occurrence. Yeah.
I mean, normally it's like, okay, I'm gonna play another half hour and then I'm leaving. And it was like literally I go from like I'm playing to I'm racking up my chips and I'm walking out, and I'm not really thinking about why I'm leaving. But I'm tired. I'm ready to go home, and I got to be at the shop early on Saturday. So this is where it gets interesting. And I've talked a little bit about my faith, and you guys kind of know where I'm at on that. Well, I'm driving home, and I'm pulling into my apartment, and I get this deep sense. If you've ever had a conviction about something being right or wrong, that deep inner knowing.
I don't get them a lot, but I've had them a couple times.
You've had them. I have this deep feeling that I need to go back to the shop and watch the security footage. So background, as I left, I went to the bank and made a deposit before I went to Canterbury. And one of our customers, who I'll just leave his name out of it, sends me a text that says, hey, I forgot my work check. We get paid on Friday. So he had forgot it at the shop. And he said, can I go back and get it? I said, you can just grab it tomorrow. He goes, I need it. I got to deposit and do some shopping or whatever.
By the way, it doesn't make any sense.
Which doesn't make it. No, it doesn't make any sense. But I just gave him permission to go get his check, and that was it. So that was. I actually looked back at my text. That was a couple 10 minutes after I left the store. And so as I'm driving home, I'm like, I need to go view the footage. This has never happened.
A feeling completely out of the blue, but something happened. You're like, meh.
It was connected to him having gone back.
Yeah.
But it was like a gripping feeling.
Yeah.
Like it was like I find myself stopped in the middle of the road, and I whip a U-turn and go to the shop. And as I'm driving, I start getting like my adrenaline's pumping, and I'm like, I have this sense of I know what I'm gonna go see, which is strange. So I get there. It's literally midnight. I turn on the lights. I go upstairs, and I pull up the text, and I pull up the camera, and I'm like, okay, I just want to see, how long. What do you do while he's here? And so I see our employee walk in, and he doesn't go grab his check. He immediately goes to one of the walls where we have a bunch of cards that are not listed on eBay, but they're organized by player.
What do you call
and
your headers?
I call them header boxes, and specifically the basketball ones. Now, the funny part is, I told you this connected to Sports Card Investors. He had texted me so he had left at 6, and I stayed till 8.
Yeah.
He had texted me at like 7 o'clock and said, hey, Chuma, the guy for the Magic, however you pronounce his last name. Chuma Okiki. He's like, he's blowing up.
Yeah.
Make sure you go pull him. Like, pull him out.
He said that to you?
He said that to me. He's like, pull your Chumas that he's blowing up.
Okay.
I didn't have time to because I was dealing with these customers. I was sending out some PSA stuff. And so literally I get there, watch him walk in, walk right over to the player boxes, start looking through cards. And I'm on like 3-4X, so I don't have to sit next to him.
Yeah.
And he's standing there moving back and forth between the boxes for an hour. And at this point, I'm getting frustrated. I'm like, what? First of all, I'm like,
why?
Why are you here? First of all, this is trespassing now at this point.
What
he's doing right now is enough for me.
Let's be
I'm
clear.
infuriated.
He has permission to go into the store, get his check, and leave. Anything else you do
Yep.
is trespass.
And I'll back up a little bit. So Mike and I, when we hire guys, we tell them right up front, we have a zero tolerance policy on theft. And if they can earn our trust, and when they earn our trust, these guys, like 3 of our guys had keys to the shop.
No.
They had the security codes, and we trusted them for that because they would open the shop, they would
Well,
close the shop.
ultimately, you do have to. You can never really expand and only always have to be there because you're one person.
It's just and so what you're doing there is you're giving trust, you're giving away responsibility to earn freedom for yourself, right? So this tension
more important to the business.
and be able to free you up to do stuff. So as I'm
let's be clear though, when you get this responsibility and you get this trust, and you do good work, in theory, the business should do better.
Yes.
And as the business grows, you are the one now with the opportunity to grow with that business.
Yep.
To earn more money, to have more responsibility.
And another little background, a couple weeks earlier, we had felt like I had told Mike, hey, I want to bless our guys. Like I want to take care of them. So we had taken them out to a steakhouse, given them each a cash bonus, and basically said, thanked them for making the business what it is, and recognizing them, because part of it is like compensation is not just financial, right? It's respect, it's honor, it's all the things that go into that. So one of the things we do with these guys is I sell them cards regularly at like huge discounts. That's part of the. So earlier that night, I had sold him some cards, and he had written them down on his timesheet.
Yeah.
And then $12 in sales, right? It's minus $12, right?
Yeah.
So as I'm watching this, then he walks back to his sheet, takes the sheet down, adds something to the sheet. So at this point, I pause the video. I walk downstairs. I grab his sheet, and it says, it's the minus 12, which is the deal him and I did. And then now there's another minus 8 on top of it.
So he decided.
He decided
of something. Did he even say what it was?
No, it just said singles, $8 in singles.
Okay.
So
he took singles and decided they were worth.
So at this point, I know he stole. First of all, I'm livid at the fact that he was at the shop for an hour and 10 minutes.
Are there any cards next to the timeshare?
No.
The cards are just gone.
The cards are in his pocket.
Whatever the cards were.
Went into his pocket. Multiple times they went into his pocket. Right. I mean, I couldn't tell what they were because, it's hard to zoom in and tell. So I call Mike, and I said, Mike, I know you're on vacation. Sorry to bother you with this one, but this is getting pretty serious here. And to me, it's not even about the money that was taken. No. It's about the betrayal of trust. Yeah. So then now I go into mode of I called you to kind of process through how do I need to handle this. I mean, I knew first of all I wanted to have a conversation with him and give him an opportunity to come clean with me. So this is where it kind of gets interesting. So the next morning, I text him. I go, hey, can you come in a little bit early? I just want to chat with you. He's like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, oh, and just got some.
He might have known something was up.
Yeah, I mean, he might have. Which actually, I was hopeful he did, and I was hoping he was going to come clean. So he comes in, and this is 8 a.m., and I think he's thinking he's going to be opening the shop, and I'm there waiting for him. Yeah. Because part of it is
dude, did you do the thing where you walk in and your back is to the guy, and then you swivel around? Did you do that?
Mm-mm.
That was your opportunity. I'm so disappointed.
I'm not actually in the mafia, John. Thank you, though.
No, I would have totally done that. I would have spun around and been like, what's up?
Step into my office. So I asked him to sit down, and I
lost opportunity, Clint.
I started with, hey, do you have anything you want to tell me?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, what's up? I said, so how long were you in the shop last night?
Yeah.
And not a real clear answer, kind of,
hey,
and then I proceeded to take his timesheet, which I had off to the side, and I put it in front of him. I said, so tell me about this sale here, these $8 in singles. What were those? Oh, yeah, I meant to tell you about that. Oh, yeah, I got a picture. I took these cards. I was going to and I said, you were going to tell me, you were going to tell me after you left with them, after having spent an hour at the shop. And then I got kind of livid because at this point he began to defend how what he did, he didn't see anything wrong with.
So without prompting, he's starting to defend that.
And at this point,
the act that's completely innocent and he doesn't know what the problem is.
I mean, obviously innocent. Right. And I said, so do you think...
So that would have been like, yeah, I did it if I was innocent, right? Yeah. I'd be like, yeah. And then you would have said, that's a problem. I go, why is that a problem? I'd be like, what are you talking about? This is normal, right? Yeah. But no, instead of, I'll list the defense.
And then he actually said, which to me was like, I've been around it long enough to see through this. He goes, well, why would I have taken a picture of all these cards if I was stealing them? I'm like, that's exactly why you took
Well,
a picture
we
of them.
talked
is to
about
try-
that, and you know, I remember you said, "Do you think this is the first time?" And I go, "No."
No, of
And
course
you go,
not.
"Oh, thanks for making me feel better."
Yeah, yeah,
I go, "No, he probably took a picture every time.
Every time. In
that
case.
way, if he got caught with it, it's like, oh, here's my
thing.
proof that I'm being honest with you, which doesn't make any sense."
And
he laughed at.
And so this is then it gets fun. I told him a story that you told me. So John, you worked for Wells Fargo. Do you want to tell the story you told me?
Yeah. So in training, I had a fun time of running a call center, having a business degree, plenty of experience, and then but I'm disabled. So when I applied to be a banker, they said, "Well, we'll let you be a teller," and then they were really upset when I said sure. Like they just didn't want to give me a job. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And then, so I'm going for training, and so they talked about there's a section on shrink. With training to be a teller is a week and a half.
Wow.
Of training.
Yeah.
And one of them is shrink. And
Yep.
so one of the stories they told us is it's an example.
Yep.
But I'm sure it's happened.
Oh, for
no,
sure. It's got to be based on.
No, I guarantee it's happened because I'm pretty sure that's what they said. This has happened.
Yep.
Before. If I'm at my register, my window is probably the right term, and I'm going on break, okay, and on the way to break, I take 50 cents out of the till to go buy a pop, so I can drink my pop and whatever, and then I'll go outside, I'll go to my car, I got 50 cents in the ashtray or whatever.
Yep.
Take the 50 cents, put it back in my till, you're fired.
Yep.
You used the 50 cents
Yep.
for an unauthorized purpose. It wasn't yours to use.
Yep.
Doesn't matter if it was for 5 minutes.
Yep.
It doesn't matter if you bring
Yeah,
it
there's
back.
no amount of time.
The amount is irrelevant.
Yep. And the time is
and
irrelevant.
the purpose is irrelevant.
Well, and so theft, there's no amount of time it takes for theft to become real. Like,
right, the second you take it,
yeah.
it's theft.
So in other words, in this example, him saying, "Oh, I was going to talk to you about it tomorrow," is irrelevant.
Right. No,
the
here's
fact,
the thing.
Now I'll say,
at Wells Fargo, I went to my service manager and I said, "Hey, can I take 50 cents out of the till?"
Yep.
And my mom, my wife, my whatever is coming, and I'll give you 50 cents back. I really want to pop.
Yeah.
My service manager will say, "No, you're fired. If you do that, I'll give you 50 cents."
Yeah.
You cannot take money out of the till.
Which, and to the point about this whole story, conflict isn't something I necessarily enjoy, but I understand dealing with this is part of running a business. So if you have ambitions to run a business and you think you're going to be able to do it and avoid these types of scenarios, you won't. So the question is, like,
we can do
how you handle it, not if you're going to have to.
Back to the very first episode where I had to call cops. So,
you're right. Yeah. So I mean, you had to deal with, and you know what? That's the reason, though, John, that you make more than your employees. Because guess what?
Oh, yeah. Not really. It really has more to do with risk than it does.
It also has to do with responsibility, and the responsibility is like, and so, long story short, I said, I need your key. I told him the story about Wells Fargo.
Yeah.
And I said, the fact that you don't see what you did is wrong on every level, I said, even if you didn't confess to me right now that you had actually taken cards, you'd be fired.
Right.
The fact that you felt liberty to come into the shop when we have literally hundreds of thousands of dollars in inventory after hours with no permission is enough for me to actually press charges against you.
Something that I was thinking about when we were talking was, like, I've stayed at your shop till 2 in the morning. After you guys left running K-bit auctions, setting up auctions. And even then, like, I'd stop and look at a card or something.
Yeah.
But I was always, like, really sure that there was no appearance that I had picked something up. Right?
Yeah.
And I go, oh, that's cool. And I always have my hand out.
Yeah.
I was always very cognizant of that. I don't want the appearance of an impropriety.
Right.
I stop and look at something, but it would never come close to my body.
Right.
That was very purposeful.
Yeah,
because if you were looking at the video, I don't even want it to look like where'd that card go? Did you put the card back?
And as I think back on this scenario, I've taken this as an opportunity for me to reevaluate some of my management, some of our internal controls, and realize that
I like that you use the proper term,
right? Because some of what I've done is I've gotten lax, and I think that becomes apparent to your employees. And they start realizing, they're not paying attention that much. Like, I guarantee you, he thought there was a 1% chance that night that I was going to go back and watch that. Like,
well, yeah, because we don't come in the office and just look at all day video.
And I'm super excited when I get to leave to go rest and like relax to be able to come back and be fresh. You know, I mean, it's a grind. Like, when you've shown up and you've been doing it now for almost a year and a half.
Yeah.
When you've shown up every day for a year and a half, like. It starts to take its toll as far as like you have to find ways to get energized to come back.
Yeah,
don't you?
but I'm sure it's gonna hit.
It's gonna hit where it's like, whoa, man, I need to catch my breath here, you know. So long story short,
let's go back to something because
let's go.
I like educating people listening. So for those who don't know, internal controls are just the
policies
and the behaviors you do to reduce shrink. And then any kind of loss. Shrink is any kind of loss. It can be theft. It can be somebody getting hurt and then paying out workers' comp. Shrink can be just spoilage.
Damage. Spoilage.
Yeah, the Twinkie now is no longer.
Like I actually ran this by my buddy who's he's the head chef at a restaurant locally. And for them, they actually have food that actually spoils. It gets dropped on the ground, whatever. And that's shrink.
Right.
Now, they actually every month would manage. They had a 5% shrink margin. And if they ever exceeded that, they would dive deeper into, okay, was it because, like, are we selling lower margin food? Are we, what's going on? And he told me a story that they actually caught a guy. And this was actually related to customers. And this is why I bring this up because my employees, after I shared with them what had happened, they shared some warning signs that they had seen that they had not communicated with me that I wish they would have. Well, my buddy who's the chef said, a customer actually came to them. One time they had a bartender who the way he would steal is he would tell customers, hey, our credit card machine's not working. We need to take a cash sale. And then he would just void the transaction. And what happened is enough of those happened in a month where it actually showed up on the P&L.
Oh, by the way.
And the customer came to them and they're like, hey, just so you know, he told us this. You might want to check into it.
By the way, two things about that. When you go to Burger King and it says if the person at the register doesn't give you a receipt, your food is free.
Yeah.
That's not for the customer.
Yeah.
That's to make sure the employee is not voiding a sale.
Yep.
Because if you don't get a receipt, now you have all the incentive in the world to say, hey, man, you didn't give me a receipt, give me my free food. Right?
Yep.
But they're doing that because
they're protecting themselves.
Like, I don't give a flying crap about my $7.24 Burger King receipt.
Yeah.
Right? But maybe I have more incentive to watch for it because I get a free meal if you don't give it to me.
Right.
Now the employees have to give it to me. They can't void it out.
Yep.
If I see void on there on my receipt, I'm like, what's this all about? Why does it say void? And so that's one thing. I had another one in my head when I started on this tangent. It was... I forget.
Ways that people steal. Yeah.
No, it was something else. But go ahead.
Yeah. So then at this point, I just kind of let him know. Matter of fact, like we have zero tolerance. I told you that, so it's over. I said I need your key, and I actually handed him the money I owed him for his last day of work.
We talked about that, and I was like, you have to pay him because his pay is separate from the theft.
Right. And we're not making a transaction here.
You don't want to mix up the two activities at all.
Well, because then he could say.
And by the way, it feels bad. Like, why am I giving this?
Well, and he felt bad. He was like, well, so here's what happened. Actually, I walked out to his car. He gave me the key. He left for 20 minutes, and I told him he's not allowed back at the store.
Yeah.
20 minutes later, he comes. He knocks on the door. I go out there. He hands me the cards he took.
Yeah.
And the money. He goes, here's your money back. Which I said, I'm just gonna mail him a check now because it's like I wasn't at that point. I was not gonna argue with him, and I actually talked with the police officer about it. So I called the police out and we filed a report and whatever. But long story short, it's been a hard week for me because obviously in our industry we deal with something that's literally like we've talked about, like cards are currency, and so they're very liquid, and trust is a massive foundation of our business, and I actually had a great conversation with another business owner today, and he made a great point to tell me. He goes, you didn't make a mistake by hiring him.
No.
He made a mistake by doing what he did. Because part of me, I'm like, oh, man, I was this a waste? And it's not a waste. Like, and I even told him, like, on a personal level, I said, as your employer, there's redemption for you in the future. It's just you're not going to get keys for the shop. You're not working for me anymore.
Talked about that a lot, about when you make a hire and you make a bad hire. He talked about how hiring managers are so built up in their own ego that they try to save those bad hires.
Yeah.
And he's like, you got to let your
Yeah.
ego out of it, and you got to get rid of those bad employees.
Yeah.
If you make a bad hire, you just got to say no.
Or
we're
to be
done.
honest, like one of the pressures for Mike and I is, and this was interesting. I had a long conversation with one of our other employees who used to own a Jimmy John's, and he said he had guys who would steal from him, and he couldn't operate his business without him. So he's like, in my mind, I would fire them until I found a replacement. Because until I found a replacement, I couldn't function without their.
That's rough.
Which is crazy. Think about that. That means the actual
that doesn't work
employee.
in the card industry.
No, that the employee actually has the upper hand.
Right.
Because
But that doesn't work in the card industry.
No.
'Cause how many subs can you eat?
Yeah, no, I mean, like how many boxes of
By
cookies?
the way, I
you know?
can take all the Jordans I want and keep coming back for more. I mean, I won't get full of Jordans.
And it's hard to like buy a box of cookies and go sell them on the black market
I mean,
or whatever. So it's like
definitely some shrink going on.
I got the stuff, whatever. So
you want that number 14 without cheese? Let's do it.
So this week has been I mean, obviously the sad part for me is we not only lost. I feel like it's a big loss on both sides. Like we lost
was he
an employee,
a productive employee?
very, very much so, and he actually had a skill set that was unique. I would say none of our guys quite had the ability to do everything that he did. He could literally do almost everything. And so for me, it's so sad because I'm like, what has to go on psychologically at a point where you start to justify that type of behavior, where you're willing to risk what you have, which is a good thing, for such a small short-term gain?
Well,
now,
we talked about that. So, my father is a scumbag.
Okay,
that's probably the best way of putting it.
Yeah.
And
I mean, you didn't use profanity. So
my dad, that's the nicest way I can say it. So but he's like managed restaurants like Baker Square and all that kind of stuff, and he would always end up embezzling from the restaurant or from the place.
Wow.
And I can't remember when I had this conversation with my mom, but I said, I don't understand
why
he's the manager.
Yep.
And he can work his way up the company and do well.
Right. Why
is he stealing? He was very bad at it because he always got caught.
Yep.
But he would steal a decent amount of money before they caught him. And my mom says, and I told you this in the phone call, and I never knew what to take it, but it always stuck with me. It goes, my dad would do extra stuff that he wasn't, tasked to do.
Yep.
And then my mom referred to him as mental credits. And so he might do something, might stay an hour late and do something, maybe didn't have to. Then he said, well, that was worth X. Yeah. I deserve Y.
And actually, by the way, this specific employee, he actually did it. And to be honest, here's a couple red flags. And for you, if you're a business owner and you start seeing or hearing these things, now I've become aware to address them. One of the things he had mentioned a while back was how much money he was making us. And I took precedent. I said, so you're saying you're doing your job.
Right.
That's good. You're doing your job. Because if you weren't making us more money than we're paying you, you wouldn't have a job. Right? There's no job to have. So this idea that
the worst case scenario is, and keep your job, is that you're even.
Right.
You're revenue neutral. Then you're like, okay, it's not costing us. The second you cost me money,
which to be honest, I'm gonna feel the benefit of the lack of payroll immediately. Like it's an immediate gain on our bottom line.
Right.
Now,
but to grow the business,
that means
you need labor.
but it also means Mike and I have to absorb that those hours, know, or we have to change our. Part of it is I have to ask, are we going to change our hour? Do we, you know what I mean?
Well, the other thing too is the really hurtful thing, the really damaging thing when you lose a good employee is that even if you find a really good employee, they're basically worthless. Not worthless. They're basically net negative for a certain period of time until they know what to do.
Until they're trained.
So if you doesn't mean you could pay them nothing. Right.
Yeah.
Zero, and they would still be a net negative.
Yep.
Right, because they cost more than they cost more than even zero pay. Because I have to sit there, I have to train you, I have to fix your mistakes, I got to look over it. My time's really valuable, compared to what I'm paying you.
Yeah.
And then, so even if I paid you nothing, I'd still be
and I have
a period of time.
And you have this when people come in and sell you stuff. They come in and go, well, I know what you're going to sell these boxes I'm selling to you for. And I look at them and I remind them, I've built the mechanism. Now, I'm not saying
the business,
credit.
The business has.
The business has created the mechanism to sell this stuff.
Right.
You don't have that mechanism. So actually, it's not worth the same to you as it is to me. And just because it's worth more to me doesn't mean I pay you the same. You know what I mean?
Well,
like this is not. It's not a 1-to-1 ratio here. Like
that's that thing on Pawn Stars where they'll bring in the appraiser.
Yeah.
And the appraisal, not that Pawn Stars is a real thing, but in real life, but they'll go, it's worth about $800 to $1,000, and then Rick's like, you know, of course Rick's like, I'll give you $10, you know.
Yeah.
But the customer will go, how about $1,000? Like not only did they go full price, they went the high end.
The high end of the price.
And they're like, whoa, wait, what? Like, why? What's happening here?
Yeah.
Like, what,
do you think I'm a collector?
Happen?
Yeah. Do you think I'm a collector here, or am I the end user?
So well, that's the other thing too. Is when we're buying collections, what we're telling the person we're buying it from, I will find the end.
Yes.
The end collector for this item.
And I've built a network of distribution that affords me a margin. But the reality is, because I have expertise at that, doesn't mean you have the same expertise. You know what I mean?
By the way, we can see the microcosm, right? It's really easy. Put up a Facebook ad.
Yep.
Talk to 40 people.
Right.
One person will be somewhat interested. That'll fall through. Talk to another 40 people. You'll meet somebody at CVS. They're going to be 30 minutes late.
Yep.
All of a sudden, that $40 you made.
Well,
anymore.
And I remind our guys all the time, like, and specifically to this guy who made that comment on how much money he was making. I said, well, if you want to get paid based on what you generate in sales, you either need to A, go get a job that pays you on commission, or B, go start your own business.
Even if it paid him on commission, he still has to earn more than his pay.
Right.
Otherwise, there's no job.
No, right. There's no job.
You know, there's no you have to generate more than what you get paid. Otherwise, there's no point to the job. Everybody would just work for themselves and never hire an employee.
And people don't understand that, like,
people understand it. They just don't stop and think about it.
Well, if you've only ever been an employee and not an employer, when you leave your job as an employee, your responsibility is over.
Yeah, it's done.
My responsibility when I go home changes zero. Like, actually, my responsibility when I'm not there sometimes is actually more than when I'm there, right? I mean, for example, this one, right?
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm there, and now I have to worry about the guys that are there actually stealing from me, which means, you know, not only are they could they be stealing from me with inefficiency, they could actually be stealing, like, directly. You know what I mean? Because there's different ways you steal, right?
Yeah.
You don't just steal with.
The thing that's kind of sad about for him is that you guys have a really good business. You have a really good story. You've got a lot of growth, and it's weird that you had mentioned, like, you think some of it might be like he saw some of the sales we were making and started doing some math and said, hey, maybe I deserve some of this stuff. But,
well, and let me say something. He said one. Okay.
But what he should have seen was like, wow, look at this business. It's doing really well. If I work really hard and help them grow this business, and then all of a sudden their sales go up another 50% in a year and a half, do you think they might create a new position for me? Because as you grow, layers have to be created.
Yes. And
are you going to go with Mr. Outside Hire or the guy who's been killing it for the last 2 years?
Yeah, the opportunity was. I told him the opportunities are there, and like I'd already, I think, demonstrated that you're not just getting paid dollars in the bottom line. You're getting an education.
You're acquiring skills.
And basically, I've been in a place, and I've always felt this way, John, and I think you could probably relate to it, that, like, I'm not this, hey, I'm going to keep all the trade secrets to myself. It's like, if you'll come work for me and you'll help what we're doing, I will give you all the I'll give you all the insight to what we've done. Not that I have, like, all this great expertise or anything.
I just got in 6 years worth of Sports Illustrated with Rip and Print ads.
Yep.
And Max was here today helping me out. And I literally telling him every ad that's good.
Yep.
What you do, how to rip it, blah, blah. And his dad came in and goes, yeah, I got a bunch of magazines. I'm like, go rip them, man. Go through them, rip them, and then I'll show you how to list them. And, like, of course.
Yeah, I've never been opposed to our guys having their own side card business. And not only that, I've told them, like, I'll help you get your cards graded. I'll sell you cards. You know. So, like, back to the whole actual situation, it would have been, what would have been different in the scenario is if and this is where it would not have been theft. If he would have texted me while he was there saying, hey, there's some cards I want. I'm going to leave them here.
Yeah.
Can we do a deal tomorrow on them? That's,
well, I mean, let's be honest. He shouldn't be.
I'm still not happy that, that's happening. But
well, let me ask a question. Had he stayed for an hour? Oh, this is a good question.
Yeah.
I'm curious. And you're not going to know because it's going to go down this way.
Right.
But let's say he said, I'm going to go pick up my check. He stays for an hour, rifling through cards. He puts the stack on there and leaves. And you got in there and like, what the hell is this stack about? And he goes, yeah, I stayed for about an hour. I grabbed a bunch of cards. Can we make a deal on this? Would you have been upset that he stayed for the hour?
Yeah, I would have said, I didn't give you permission to do that. Why'd you do that? I would have.
So you think that was 100% you would have said that?
Yes. Because I actually did say to him, and this was a red flag earlier in that week. I came in one morning when Mike was gone to ship at about 9 a.m.
Yeah.
And everything was already packaged for the morning. But this individual was not working that day.
Yeah.
And I texted Mike. I go, did you come in and ship?
Yeah.
It's like the elf. You know, an elf when the guy comes in, they come in and decorate, and he's like, someone's gone in for my
By the
job.
way, the elf is the nice thing. The leprechaun is the evil thing. Just to make it clear.
So do you remember that part where like Will Ferrell's up all night decorating,
Yeah.
and the guy's like, what the heck's going on here? And that was like me. I'm like, who's coming in here doing my job?
Right.
And so I text Mike. He's like, no, it's not me. And so I texted our employee, and I'm like, hey, bro, like, not cool. Like, you didn't ask me.
Oh, so you said that.
Yeah. I mean, he goes, well, I couldn't sleep. I was up. I go, no, you don't let yourself into the shop and do a job that I'm not asking you to do.
Right.
Like, I found him doing that often where he was doing something that he felt like he had the liberty to just be his own boss.
And again, that references back to those mental credits possible.
Right, yes.
Oh, I did all this shipping for him. He wasn't even grateful.
I mean, you got to check, didn't you?
I've earned. Well, not only that, did he put down hours when he did that?
That specific time, no, but
Yeah,
I don't.
then that
But
might
the
be
other.
mental credit.
Well, the
I
other
did this
part is.
task, I
Yeah.
didn't have to do it. Now I've earned something.
Yep, I'm
These
entitled.
They're part of my compensation.
Right.
Hence why you can't let somebody do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, and has to be clear. And so it was funny because Saturday, he left and changed the locks and changed the security code. And I'm like, well, I guess it's going back to me and, Mike and I are the only ones opening and closing for a while. And there's always one of us got to be here now or at least two guys. So I pulled one of our high school kids aside and I said, hey, Nicholas, I'm glad you're here. I don't know if anybody's had this conversation with you yet, but if you steal a pack of $1 penny sleeves, I'm going to fire you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to file a report. And like, I trust you, but don't give me a reason not to trust you. And like, understand we have a zero tolerance policy.
Well,
if you need something, you can ask. And guess
Yeah.
what?
Oh, yeah.
I'll probably give you a pack of penny sleeves. But if you just go out of your way to assume you are entitled to take it, it's night and day.
Oh, it's funny.
You take away my opportunity to be generous to you.
Yeah, I had a couple customers that were at your shop that are regulars of mine. Actually, it's a family where the dad came to my shop the first day I opened.
That's awesome.
And
First
I didn't even remember
customers.
that, but he remembered that. Like, I was here day one. I'm like, what? Yeah. But they were at your shop, and the mom is mom and dad, and then the 13-year-old, and they're all like, dad and kid are really having a lot of fun with each other collecting, and mom really embraces it. She like gets that. It's
She
a fun
sees
activity.
what they're doing, and
Like, she's not
yeah.
super active, but like she gets like, oh, this is a good activity
Wholesome,
for those two.
yes.
Yeah.
Bonding, parent.
Yeah,
I
you
love
learn
seeing
some stuff.
The,
Yeah. And so
Father-son stuff
she
is great.
texted me and she goes, "Hey, do you need anything from Clint's shop?" And I go, "Yeah, I could use some penny sleeves. Like I was down to my last 10 packs."
Yeah.
And
you mean not the Michael Jordan rookie?
yeah,
Yeah, actually,
I need some penny sleeves, right? And so I was like, "Yeah." So I texted you and she brought them over. I crack it open. I give them 4 packs of penny sleeves. And here's kind of a difference between personalities. She's like, "You don't have to give these to us." I'm like, I know I don't have to.
I get
but
you. Yeah.
I'm going to.
to.
Thanks for thinking of me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and thanks for doing me a favor. And
Yeah,
we're doing both of us
But
a favor.
same thing. If someone's like, "Oh man, I'm tapped. I really need sleeves," you're like, "Dude, here, just have the sleeves."
Yeah.
But if you take the sleeves,
Right.
that's not cool, and you're fired.
You're fired. Yeah.
And one of the other things, do you mind if I bring up a previous situation?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you did have a guy who stole from you previously.
Yeah. So this is number 4.
This is number 4.
This is
I
the
didn't
fourth,
realize
yeah.
that many.
Yeah, this is the 4th.
So the one I'm thinking of is the one with the silver packs.
Yeah.
He's taking. This
He
was
was-
before they were
yep.
putting silver packs in the box.
This was Black Friday packs to be
Oh, Black
very
Friday
specific,
packs.
but they were the giveaway packs like you're thinking.
Yeah,
of.
and so there's no,
There are big cards in there though.
oh
Like,
no,
you
right,
can pull
but
autos.
you can't.
And, yeah.
You can't. Actually, we should talk about that story right after I'm done with this point. But you didn't file the police report.
I didn't.
And so when you had called me last Friday, I'm saying you have to file a police report.
Yeah.
This is not. This is not a.
Now
maybe.
I did not press charges on the theft, I did on trespassing. Because
Yeah.
partly what he said to me, he goes, if you're going to do the theft, you need to go back and find out. He goes, it's got to be more than 60. Like, it's not worth it for $60. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like,
fair enough.
so
Oh,
I was
that's
like,
interesting.
trespassing's enough. He's not
Yeah,
allowed back. And then
right.
he feels the weight of like,
But in the, I assume in the police report, it still says owner accuses employee of theft,
Exactly.
and that's why he's been.
And
right.
I think it even says employee admitted to.
Yeah,
Because he admitted to it. Yep.
So one of the reason why I said that is because when I heard that first story about the other, I'm like, that's a bad move. Now, it's not because you're trying to be, again, you're trying to have mercy for people.
I am.
And I get that. And I get, like, and it's easier. Like, I don't want to go down to the police station. Like, I get that, right?
Yep.
But you're not doing it to punish the person who stole.
Right.
You're doing it to demonstrate to your current employees and all future employees, this is what's going to happen.
There's
I'm not
consequences
going to be
your
vengeful
decision.
about it.
Yep.
I'm not going to yell and scream and whatever.
Nope.
But the police report's getting filed.
Yep.
And it's going to happen.
Yep.
It's very matter of
And it
fact.
doesn't matter how much you beg me, because he actually he begged me, and he even made a comment at one point. I can't believe you're doing this. And I said, I'm not doing anything.
No.
You chose this. Like
Right.
I'm not. You're not the victim. You're the. You're the
perpetrator.
You're the perpetrator.
Yeah.
Thank you. I was gonna say victimizer. It's not, I don't think that's. It's not quite the word, but. And I'm like, I'm not going to be. Part of it is I've lived long enough, not as long as you, John, but like I don't buy into like.
Hey, Evan, did Clint just call me old?
That was a very kind way of saying wise. Like,
Wow.
I called you.
Wow.
I called you wise.
I kind of hurt a little bit. All right.
It hurt.
John's.
John's.
I've lived as long as you, John.
It's all of 7 years more.
Because you're not to the 4 yet.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't crossed. I haven't gone over the hill. I'm just climbing up it.
Wow.
Slowly.
All right. So you're not as old as me, but you've learned a little.
But I've become aware of this kind of thought process. I think it's common in addicts where it's like he used the word regularly. Oh, I made a mistake.
Yeah.
And there was never like this ownership. And to be honest, that to me became the frustrating piece of the fact that you literally are in such denial that you don't see what you did as wrong at all, which is even more alarming and more of a reason that this is the right decision for me to say this is over.
Well, here's the
This
thing.
is done.
Like you mentioned that in the phone call, and I told you I hate it when people call things mistakes. People will call,
except for when you ship the wrong card. That's an actual mistake.
People will call the most heinous purposeful act as mistake, and people go.
Yeah.
They'll talk about assault and rape and all sorts of horrible stuff, and then you'll see this online in commentary, and then all this guy like, "What? You never made a mistake before?" I'm like, "That's not a mistake.
That's not a mistake.
You did that on purpose."
Well, and to your point, think of how premeditated this was.
Yeah.
He texted me ahead of time. He had researched what players he wanted to go take.
It's weird that we had to pull the card because he took that guy.
He told that, and then he took that guy.
But why? That's the weirdest part, though.
Everybody he took were guys that were either either underpriced, not priced, not even processed.
So
out of boxes.
Is this an ad for Sports Card Investor? Like, if you want to steal cards, check out the top 10.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, here's what it is. Here's what it's telling you. Anytime you have a legitimate market, you're going to have a black market, right? I mean,
if you're an employee at a card shop, these are the top 10 cards you should invest in today.
The must-steal list.
Must-steal.
And to be honest, he was also going out of his way to not list them on eBay, but to do direct deals on Facebook.
All right,
knowing
okay,
I would.
Let's merge into the other guy.
Oh, that's
real
fun.
quick. We weren't planning on talking about this part.
This is the highlights.
This is hilarious. How you found out? I just want you to tell kind of the. This isn't a very long story, but it's like how you found out he was stealing. I'm like,
I mean,
wait,
some of
happening?
this, I just have to give honestly God thanks for His protection over our business.
Yeah.
And it's in a lot of ways. I feel like God's blessing has been on us to grow, partly because He's connected us with good people, good relationships, whether it's customers,
Absolutely.
whether it's other business owners, whether it's just a community of collectors, all that. But so this other story, I was working at the Tree Lot, which is my November, December.
Now, this was what year in business?
This would have been year 3, 2 years ago, 2 Christmases ago.
Seems like it was longer than that. Okay.
Yeah, I know. So it would have been 2 Decembers ago. Yeah, so it's like 2.5 years.
Okay.
And I'm at the Tree Lot, and we had an employee who had left his job at ESPN. He loves sports, huge collector. Said it was his dream job. Worked for us he took a pay cut to come work for us
Yeah.
because he just loved it.
Yeah.
And so he's with us for a year, and he basically could do everything: ship eBay, list eBay, handle it all,
Anything
run
got
the
this
shop.
rockstar employee.
Just awesome, right? And so during that month, I'm not at the shop as much, and so Mike at that point was still working his other job. So
By
Mike
the way,
was not
this
full-time.
is the best thing I've ever heard. You have a retail store,
Yep.
and then you're like, "Hey, it's December, gotta go."
I gotta go.
Right? Like,
Hey, I gotta go and run my other business that happens to benefit
I'm like,
mostly.
I don't think you're doing this right, Clint.
Well, John, I can't sell Christmas trees in July. There's only one
you
time.
Could, if you really tried.
If I really try, I could.
All right.
So one day, and this is where I give God thanks. It was a pretty miraculous scenario. I sleep very heavily through the night. I never wake up.
Yeah.
This one night, I literally wake up out of a dead sleep at 4 a.m. and I feel in my heart like I need to look at his eBay store. And so I pull up his eBay store, and this is like 3 days after Black Friday, and there's all these Black Friday cards. One of them being, and this was early on when Patrick Mahomes wasn't nearly as valuable as he is now. There was this Patrick Mahomes relic to 10.
Oh crap!
Gold.
I forgot that was the card.
It was a gold relic to 10. He had it listed for like $200 at the time.
What do you think it's worth now?
Probably 800, something like that. Because it was it was not a rookie. It would have been a second year. It would have been 2018.
Oh, okay, fair. Still Patrick Mahomes 10. No.
Yeah, and it was a nice like prime patch or whatever. And so you can get real cards out of these packs. You know, they give out autos and stuff.
Yeah,
and so the next day, I just take a note of it, literally, and I go back to bed. I'm like, that's strange. Like, where did he get? You know, we give those out. Like, he would have had to buy. So then 2 days later, I'm back at the shop. This is like on a weekend, and I'm there on Monday. And I just, we're just shooting the breeze, and I just go, hey, saw you had some cool Black Friday cards on your eBay. Where'd you get those? And he literally tells me, John, and this is like, people must think I'm just like the densest, like I have no discernment, I just can't understand.
I mean,
he literally tells me,
I mean, that's not crazy.
It's not crazy,
right, Evan?
John, he literally tells me, I don't remember.
I don't remember.
And so these cards had come out 3 days.
You don't remember the wax that you bought to earn those packs?
I don't open that many packs. I remember where I got every card I ever pulled.
What did you have to buy to get a pack?
You had to buy, I think it was like $100.
Yeah, $100 to get a pack.
You get one, and we only got like 20-some packs.
You don't remember the $600 you spent to get 6 packs or whatever.
Yeah,
okay.
So it really makes sense.
3 days
So then every time I try to give these guys the opportunity, like, do you remember this as a parent? Did your parents ever do this? My parents would give me opportunities to like come clean, and the quicker I would do it, the less the consequences.
I was accused of doing. Even though I didn't do stuff.
Even though you didn't do it?
I got a story after this.
Okay, so you were in the opposite spectrum. So I remember, we'll wait on that. But so
I got a great.
Then I ask him. So I say, "Oh, you don't remember, huh? These just came out a couple days ago." He goes, "Oh, yeah. Mike told me I could take a few of those packs home." I go, "Okay."
A few at $100 a clip.
So I go,
right.
let me call Mike quick. So I step in the back room and call Mike, and Mike's like, "No, I never give permission." I go, Mike, just so you know, here's what we're dealing with. Like, he stole.
So he said, I don't remember. Then he said, "Yeah, Mike
told me
to take them."
So now
you weren't gonna talk to your partner.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I was just gonna take his word.
Hey,
of course, Mike did.
This is a mastermind we're dealing.
Yeah, I know.
With
We're dealing with some deep stuff here. This guy's really thought this one through.
I'm gonna put it on my eBay account. Then I'm gonna say.
And not only that, I'm gonna put cards on my eBay account that are specifically tied to a certain day.
Yeah.
That literally makes it so obvious that,
I mean, it would have been easier to like steal older cards and say, "Oh, I went to car show and I bought this cool
wax."
Yeah,
I bought a wax or whatever,
like,
rip some wax. I mean, so I had actually had my eye on him previous because he had at one point listed a basketball card that was listed. It was like a Damian Lillard to 10. And he didn't collect basketball. And I was like, "Oh, where'd you get that basketball card?" And I still think to this day, he was siphoning off packs and ripping them and then selling what he pulled.
Then he got a card and then
so he wasn't paying for them. And
open a couple packs.
Then he goes into this big sob story of, "Oh man, this is not me. I've never done this before. I promise." And anytime someone tells you I've never done this before,
they've done it before.
They've done. They actually probably did it really recently. That's the whole point.
The whole Bill Burr thing where he says when someone says, "I don't mean to be racist," you're about to hear some real racist stuff. Yeah. Okay.
The moment you preface it with that,
I'm very proud that I've never started out a sentence with "I don't mean to be racist."
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
okay.
I can just say what I say, and people should know that I'm not racist. And if it comes off that way,
I don't mean to sound like it's like, okay, I'm about to hear something.
So then, similar story. I basically said, everything we do here is built on trust, and if you earn my trust, you get the keys to the whole thing. Like, anything I have is yours. Like, I'm not. I'm looking for people that I can trust. And here's the hard part for me, John, and I'll take a pause for a second, is as I look now at who we can hire, like, it's a tough thing to find someone who is trustworthy, who knows cards, and has the skill set needed to do what we're asking them to do. Because I have a bunch of people in my life that I trust that don't know cards. And I know a few people that know cards, but they're not necessarily looking for jobs. So it's like, who's looking for,
like, I'll take someone who I can trust, who knows nothing, who's willing to learn.
Who's willing to learn.
Oh, yeah. I mean, because you'll learn it, and then I got someone, like,
and you'll know
I
it.
told you in a conversation.
If they know sports, that's actually more important.
Yeah. But even if they don't, like, if you're willing to learn, like, let's go.
Yeah, like I go to Powell's, and his wife is working, and she checks people out, but she literally doesn't know a thing. Like, so, like, but it does limit their ability to, like, buy and sell and do trades and,
But, like I told you, like, there's a handful of people that I'm just like, I got zero. Now, what's it say? Everybody is susceptible to theft and to any sort of
temptation
sin or evil, right? It takes a lot, right?
Yep.
I have this line that I always say is, my uncle told me once, actually it was card related. I didn't. Wow. So my uncle was cleaning out my grandma's garage, threw away a bunch of 67 Philadelphia football cards and some other stuff like Dick Buckus rookies and that kind of stuff. My uncle fishes it out of the trash bag.
Yep.
Sends the cards that would have been. Well, okay, my uncle. I'm just gonna say the names because there's no reason not to say the names. My uncle Dan, who's the younger brother, fishes them out after my uncle Brian throws them away.
Yep.
My uncle Dan mails the cards that he's pretty sure my uncle Brian would have been my uncle Brian's.
Okay.
And he was driving me somewhere, and I said I would have just kept them, like, with the. Like, but by the way, like, could have totally kept them. Like, we threw them away. Like, what's the deal? And he goes, "Nah, I'm not gonna sell my soul for a couple $100."
Amen.
Right.
That's good.
And so my joke line, when I talk about temptation is, I'm not gonna sell my soul for X.
Yep.
And not saying my soul doesn't have a price. I just haven't hit it yet. You know.
Yeah.
And the goal is that the price is so big, it's just not gonna come up.
Right.
Like, because, again, you're accepting that everybody is capable.
But now let me ask you this.
But
would you
the price should be really, really, really big.
Yeah, but don't you also think if I set a principle, I feel like, so the way temptation works is that if the devil can take an inch, he'll end up taking a mile. So where I win the battle in honesty, where I win the battle in resisting the temptation to steal, is actually at the smallest level. And once I decide this is my line, I don't cross it, it's easier to not cross it on a bigger amount because the consequences and the stakes are bigger versus the smaller amount.
But if you take a little $60 worth of cards.
But then again, we did the math. If he took $60 3 times a week all year, it's $10,000. So, I mean, it's a significant number.
$60 a month, it's a week. 2 weeks of work.
Right.
Yeah.
And now the problem is, like you said, in our business, we can handle that shrink, but handling it does not mean I'm going to tolerate it or empowering it or approving of it.
Yeah.
You know, there's a difference between, like, is this going to put us out of business? No, but that doesn't mean you keep your job.
No, but it can, and the reason why it can is because. It's not that the one guy is going to put you out of business, but the culture of doing it can bleed. And as you grow, as you're hiring these employers, they're like, yeah, man, just take the cards, man.
And I'll say this. Anytime,
and all of a sudden, everybody's doing it. And that can
that's real.
Put real stress on the business.
And trials like this, everyone who's listening, everybody in their life, you have these trials. Like, this is an opportunity. And I think we talk about strengths, SWOT analysis, strengths, weakness, opportunities, threats. So this was a threat that now has it's a weakness that's now birthed an opportunity. Because Mike and I had the conversation. We're actually buying locked display cases where our current shelves are with wax. All the wax is going to be locked up. All the extra wax is going to be locked up.
I just thought of what I was going to bring up earlier when I come to think of it is so when I was manager in GameStop, one of the policies with EB Games, but GameStop had the same policy. They merged while I was working for EB. And what happened is...
What'd that stand for, by the way?
Electronics Boutique.
I don't remember it being called... Okay,
it was a way better story.
Nice.
But you'd be done with your shift, and didn't matter whether you're a manager, part-timer, or key holder, or whatever.
Yep.
You would walk out, you would pull your pockets out of your pants, to show that they were empty
Yep.
to the camera
Yep.
and then walk out. And there was a lot of part-timers who would get like upset about this, like, "Oh man, they don't trust me." I'm like, dude, this policy is for you.
It's protecting
It's
you.
not for GameStop.
So now we can't falsely
Because,
accuse you.
if there's a theft,
Yep.
I'm watching tape and it's like he don't have anything in his pockets. I know that because
Right.
he just showed his pocket. Now,
Right.
granted, there's plenty of other places to hide stuff, but this was just
Right.
like, hey, here, I got nothing. Bye.
Yep.
And it was like you gotta stop making such a big deal out of it.
Right.
But some people feel like that is intrusive. and
Or,
like, it's
or,
really
or
to
as
protect
though
you.
it's an accusation that you are stealing. It's not. It's
No,
actually a
but here's the
protection.
thing, But here's the thing: like, if there's one guy who just doesn't do it and everybody else does it,
Yeah.
and there's a theft, guess who's getting
Right.
looked at first?
Right.
Doesn't mean he did it. It just means like, I don't know. And so what you're saying here is maybe you go, oh, okay, we got an opportunity here to add some layers
Yep.
where we can not only protect ourselves but protect individual employees from worrying about maybe being, thought of wrongdoing when they didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
And that's always a positive thing to do.
For sure. And it gives us the ability to. I'm not going to say. I don't know. Would you consider what? I mean, did we make some mistakes in giving too much trust? Maybe. And so maybe I need to.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't think I should have ever had our employees having keys and codes that were good to get in the shop at any time of
Well,
night.
I
I don't know what else has been taken in the middle of the night. Like,
right, but I
you know.
do think one thing is good, as you told me, and I have what's the name of the security company?
ADT.
ADT. So ADT is really expensive.
Yeah.
But one of the things that they told me, and you
Yep.
said that they have
Yep.
it, is like you can set it up where each employee has their own code.
Yeah. So I
And
called and did
that's
that.
something you got to set it up because then you can go, oh, he showed up at 11 in the morning. Like
Yep.
if he doesn't know my code, he can't use my code to get in.
Yep.
So I know who it was.
I know
that
who it was.
came in, or
And
at
so
least briefed
each
him.
of our guys are going to get codes, and then the other thing I set up is there's a master code, and the master code is the only code that can get you in after business hours or before.
that's cool.
So basically from 9
Was it the
a.m.
timer?
9 a.m. to 8 p.m. all the codes work, and then after 8 p.m. only the master code, which Mike and I are going to be the only ones who have that.
So if you're closing, you got to get the hell out before 9.
Yeah, you can't stay late. Yeah, you got to get out.
Yeah, okay.
Which no,
Good
it's
call.
8, but we close at 6.
Now, to be
yeah.
honest with you, how effective is that? Because what are we preventing?
Someone from coming in the middle of the night.
No, right. The police will get called.
Well, the alarm will stay on.
So that's
They
what I
can,
mean,
yeah, the alarm will not
alarm
come off.
go
Yes, yes.
Police will come
Yeah.
immediately, and
Immediately,
that's
yes.
okay. Instead of going, oh, I looked at the law, you
Yeah,
came in
no,
at mid, but you literally can't get in without the cops coming.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, fair
So
enough.
literally, in other words, they have 60 seconds, and then the alarm's gonna
Yeah.
make a noise.
So right at 9,
and they're not gonna be able to turn it off.
So right at 9, it's gonna be like beep.
And
beep,
then I'm getting a phone call, and then I'm not gonna be happy, you know.
yeah,
So
I know it.
so it's a preventative measure. To be honest, I'm not gonna give keys out for a certain amount of time
Yeah.
either. So it's Mike and I are only gonna have keys, and it's just.
Well, I think that's a.
I don't know if that's distrust on my end or if it's just wisdom.
We
but-
talked about like on that story from podcast 1 where I had this crazy thing. You talked about how one person's action have a ricochet effect.
Yep.
To multiple people,
Yep.
and they probably didn't even think they would do anything all that big.
Yep.
Well, that theft created inconveniences
For everybody.
for the owners and for all the employees.
Yep.
Like I don't want to be an employee where like I show up to open and I'm 5 minutes early. And I'm like, la la la, and open up, doing. I kind of forgot about it.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, I'm dealing with the cops. And then you're like, all pissed off. I told you you can't come in until 9, you weirdo. And then you're like, I forgot. And it's just like,
Yeah.
well, without that theft, that employee
Yeah.
could have came in 5 minutes early,
Yep.
put on TV, watch
Well,
TV. 5
we
minutes,
just
start
keep in
shift,
mind that
you know.
it starts at 9. We don't really open till 10, so
Oh, okay. Fair
they
enough.
coming in
That's
5
unlikely
minutes
to
or
happen, at
yeah.
least.
There's an hour where
Right.
yeah.
But I mean, there's stuff where it's just like it's more inconvenience.
Mhm.
It's more like, oh man, we got to do this. Every time there's a policy, every line of a real estate contract is based on a lawsuit.
Yeah.
Every policy is based on some sort of violation of
Yes.
trust.
Yes.
And if it wasn't for the people who violated trust, there'd be almost no policy. Everybody would
Yeah.
say, hey, this would be the policy. Do the right thing.
Yeah,
Bye.
do the right thing.
That
and
would
we
be
assume
extremely
everyone's going to do that, but
do the
it's
right
not what
thing.
we're at.
Later.
Now, this all to be said, this is the double-edged sword of a sports card market that's booming, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's so.
No.
Well, people weren't steal. The cards
Yeah.
were very illiquid in the past, don't you think?
No, you're wrong.
You think it's always been equal
I've
theft.
always referred to the sports card hobby as vast majority of good people are underbelly scumbags. There's an underbelly of scumbags in this hobby that always has been.
And they always deceive
Well,
you.
dude, in 1993,
I love you, John.
shop owners would cut out first day edition emblems, with an X-Acto knife, and glue them onto star base cards.
No way. That happened.
I not only have I seen it, Steve caught an owner doing it. What up, Steve? And
What up, Steve?
I've heard multiple stories of that. That's a real thing.
Wow.
Like even now, I bet there's some people that are doing it because you put it in the sleeve.
Well, I'll tell you this.
And if you don't take it out of the sleeve and look at it, maybe you don't.
I'll tell you this. I had a collection come in yesterday that I ended up buying, and in the collection, the guy had 2 fake Brady Skybox rookies, and
Skybox.
Yep. And I said to him, I go,
weird fake.
you know these are fake. He did not tell me when I looked through them they were fake.
Oh, he knew they were fake. He admitted
He admitted. I go, these are fake. He goes, oh yeah. My nephew bought those on eBay. Didn't know what they were, and I'm like,
you didn't say nothing, man.
I'm just like, I'm like.
But think about it. Trimming.
Let me ask you this.
Trimming, coloring the edges. You've already referenced that.
Yep.
This all didn't happen in the last 2 years.
Hey, dude. If I would have put those in my stack and tried to buy them for like fair market value, I highly doubt he would stop me. No, he'd have been like,
I'll just buy the Brady's. He would have been like, okay, cool.
Oh, cool, let's go. You know.
He would have been like,
and you know what? And you know what it is? And you know what it is? Fortunately for me, I've bought and sold enough of that specific card that when I looked at it, the color was off. Something was off. It's like I couldn't tell you exactly why I knew it was fake, but I just knew there's something wrong with this card.
Pretty good in your shop. A customer came in with a fake Jordan rookie.
Yep.
That was pretty good.
Yep.
And I remember when I looked at it, I had to take a double look, but I'm like, it's wrong.
There's
and
something wrong.
I couldn't figure out why it was wrong, and then as I looked at it, I go, oh, here. It's just wrong.
Like the
but
color,
at first,
the printing, or the.
It was really just the coloration.
Well, and I just had a customer buy a '57 mantle where it was fake, and the moment I took it out, the texture of the paper was like glossy, but the printing. So here's what they do: they take a photo of an old card, and they print it on new stock, so it looks grainy and it looks worn, but the card isn't worn. The photo on the card, you know what I'm saying? It's like that elaborate. And then they actually round the corners to make it look.
Well, yeah. Well, that's the thing with reprint.
That's
like,
the thing
with
reprint.
And then they'll abuse them.
They'll abuse
so
the
then
reprint.
It's a 2.
Yeah.
It's like, why would I do that to a 2 to make it look real?
To make it look real, right?
And by the way, all this was happening the last 2 years, Clint? Nah, underbelly scumbag.
Yeah.
So you got. No, fortunately, word gets around in the hobby, right?
Yeah.
We know the dealers in the Twin Cities are scumbags.
Well, and there's a guy who's not even allowed in our shops anymore, who is a regular customer.
He's a nice guy, by the way.
Yep.
Everybody loved this guy.
Everybody loves him.
But there's dealers who, like, maybe even if you do business, you always know they're lying to you. So I've heard about a couple dealers where it's like, yeah, you can do deals with them, but just do not listen to anything he says about pricing.
Yeah.
He's always wrong, and he's always high on his side, and he's always wrong, and he's always low on his side. He's always high on his side, he's always low, like ridiculously so. Just look up your prices.
Like John, was I high on the $7 on those tickets I sold you? We just got an epic deal done.
By the way,
wow.
I might have got taken on that. Probably not, but like.
John, you paid me less than $1 a ticket.
I'm all right with that, but I'll get to it like a year and a half from now. I'll be like,
John, you should actually have tickets out because you're Mr. Ticket. How many do you have listed right now?
300-400.
And where are they all? At your house?
They're all. So the way I do tickets. Oh, this is kind of a cool one. If you ever want to do ticket stub, the way to keep them in order is I usually have between 10 and 40 in an envelope. And then the envelope have the ID number that I have on eBay. So in the description it says, number 43. Well, that's envelope 43.
Yep.
And so when I sell it, I look at the description, envelope 43, go in there. There's only like 10 to 40 tickets. I can find it quick, pull it, ship it.
Yep.
And so they're all just kind of in order.
So you don't organize them necessarily by like sports or alphabetical.
Yeah, some are when I get enough.
Yeah.
But if I get like a random lot, I'll just throw the number on there and good to go.
Tickets are a very cool.
They're exploding
collection.
Right now, by the way.
I've never really got into it, but there are tickets I would like.
They're exploding right now in value.
And the graded ones are really big.
And then so just a quick primer on tickets. The debut ticket is the biggest ticket.
Yep.
You would think the milestone ticket's the biggest one. The debut is bigger than it's the rookie card.
It's the rookie card, yeah.
And And milestones are big, but like, yeah, it's the first ticket.
But let me ask you this: what's bigger, for example, like Don Larson's debut ticket or his perfect game in the World Series?
See, that's where you start getting kind of.
That would be,
I'm not
in other words,
sure.
the bigger the
Well,
milestone, the
Well, but here's the thing: what happens is, it's probably still the debut
okay,
because when he made his debut, there were less people at that game.
unless people kept it.
And right, the older it is, the
Yep.
more likely it's damaged, the more likely. And then, but one of the other things they'll do is, like, let's say, oh, here's a great example: Paul Molitor's debut ticket, one
Yep.
that you probably would want.
Yep. Would love it.
When we look it up, maybe there's 9,840 people in the stand.
Yep.
When he hit number 3,000, it was packed out.
It was probably
and everybody
50,000.
kept it because
Yeah,
they knew
right.
who Paul Molitor was.
And they knew this was going to be a big day, possibly.
Well, no,
If
but
he
when
had-
it
yeah.
happened, everybody kept tickets,
Yeah.
right? It was
Yep.
a big deal. So what happens is the big milestones are more affordable in general because we knew something happened that day. Whereas
Yep.
when, Scott, Paul Molitor made his debut, I don't know if he's going to be any good. Like, most people toss, and people
Yep.
weren't collecting as much either.
Let me ask you this: how
the
do you?
exception, though,
Yep.
is Scott Erickson, no-hitter,
Yep.
John Larson, perfect game. I didn't know that was going to happen that day
How,
either.
so let me ask you
Yeah.
this question. I just read an article about Mark Cuban. He's wanting to shift Mavericks tickets to be, what are they called? NFTs? The thing with the top shots? Yep,
tokens?
non-fungible tokens.
Really?
And part of the reason, and so let me ask you this: with digital tickets becoming the thing, how does that affect?
Ticket collectors are losing their mind.
Are they hating
they,
it?
They
Okay,
can't.
they hate it.
They're they're petitioning teams.
So
They just like, I'm trying to get a physical
Yep.
representation of this game. This
Yep.
is my hobby, and you're destroying my hobby.
right now, most of the time, you can get a printed copy. Like if you have season tickets for the
it-
Twins, you have to pay more to
No,
get
right,
printed
but
copies.
in the last 5 years, these teams are going all digital, no exceptions, no special printing.
Wow.
I mean, they started off going like, we'll print you tickets,
Save
but
cost.
You got to go. He gives $250 for
Yeah.
a season ticket, and now they're like, we're not even gonna print them for you.
Wow.
But now it seems like maybe some teams are going, oh, now we can make some money.
Well,
on
I
it.
think what
I don't
well I
know.
think what Cuban's doing is he's recognizing how big Top Shot stuff is, and he's going, hey.
Why don't I represent it by the ticket?
And think
now?
about that. The ticket could literally become that level of collectible where
Yeah, I think the tickets won't totally go away once the teams understand it's a collectible.
Yep.
But they're trying to monetize everything,
mm-hmm.
and so why wouldn't you monetize the ticket when there's
Which makes sense.
and and then the question is how big is the market too? So if they're only selling 100 tickets a game, maybe it's not worth it.
Yep.
But who's to say?
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. All right, I want to tell you my story.
Yep.
Has nothing to do
I wanna
with cards,
I love it.
but it's a great story. So you talked about like, have you ever been? What was the prompt on it? My answer was I got accused of things I didn't do. You get an opportunity to come clean about things.
Come
that you
clean,
did.
yeah.
So there was this day, summer day. My mom made 24 bean burritos.
Wow.
She's gonna.
Evan laughs.
She's gonna. I don't know why it's so funny already, but she had 24 bean burritos
How
ready
many
to go.
for who's out? Were you guys inviting the whole neighborhood?
For
Or?
lunch. No, for lunch. And then she's going to throw the bean burritos in the freezer.
Oh, okay.
And then you pull a couple bean burritos out, nuke them, and you're good to go.
Oh, so we got leftovers
So you
built
make a
in.
big-
yeah,
you make a big-
Yeah, if you're gonna make it,
But for
get it.
some reason, she put them all on a platter. She didn't well, I guess they were warm. So she had to wait for them to cool down because something happened. I don't know if that's an old wives' tale or whatever, but my mom was always like, we got to wait for it to cool down before we process it. And then I always thought
John's like, I'm hungry.
I always thought you had to wait for pizza to cool down before you cut it. Every pizzeria cuts it when it's right out of the oven. I'm like, my mom's full of whatever. So, so that was always their thing. Like, we got to let it cool down so I can cut it. Otherwise, the cheese is going to be all melty. Like, isn't that the point of... Anyway. So, so she makes 24 bean burritos. I put 2 on my plate. My mom put 2 on her plate. We start eating. Nice, warm spring or summer day, Saturday, Sunday, weekend. And
Burrito's good.
my mom takes like 3 bites out of hers, and then somebody knocks at the door. I go get the door. I talk to the guy. It's for my mom. I walk up. Hey, somebody's at the door for you.
Yep.
And so my mom goes to talk to the person. She's talking to the person forever, right? So I eat my 2 bean burritos. I probably have a third one.
Yep.
I go to my room.
Yep.
Right? And so I'm in my room for an hour. She was at the door forever.
Yep.
she comes flying in, like I'm like watching TV, and then boom, she appears, right?
Wow.
Just screaming at me. John, I'm sick of your crap. You are so selfish, and you only think of yourself, and I just can't believe it. I'm like, what did I do?
Yeah.
What did I do? And finally it comes out, you ate all of the bean burritos, and I can't believe you would do 24 bean burritos.
Wow, John, you were hungry.
I was playing football at the time, don't get me wrong. I can't.
Did
and
you
I said,
stuff them in your pockets, John?
I go, Mom, what? She goes, you ate all the bean burritos. I can't believe you did this. You're so selfish. She's just on this line. I'm
not
selfish.
asking you a question.
I'm like one of the most disgusting people on the planet because I ate all the bean burritos. And
who are you, Joey Chestnut?
By the way, I also ate the bean burrito on her plate, and I ate the bean burrito that took 2 bites out of it. Just to be clear, I ate all of the bean burritos.
Obviously.
All of them.
Yes.
And I'm going, Mom, do you understand that I could physically do that? I would be throwing up right now.
I would have to be Kobayashi.
I would be like, I'm like, do you
leader.
understand? She is livid. She does not, like, you're a liar.
Yeah.
You
not hearing
lie.
your side.
You just lie all the time. And I'm like 15, 16. I'm going, first of all, I wasn't a bad kid, right?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't do stuff to cause suspicion. Right? No, I did like to eat. Don't get me wrong.
But not 24.
I enjoyed eating.
You're like, okay, I got a third or a fourth.
She stormed out, doesn't talk to me for the rest of the day. Doesn't talk to me, like, cursory words the next day. She's pissed. It probably was Saturday because I don't remember going to school or anything. And I can't remember the next part of the story, but somehow within a couple days, I walk into the kitchen, and there's my dog Lucky on the kitchen table, chowing down on, like, some old bowl of cereal. And I went, oh, okay. And so my mom gets home, and I said, because we would leave the chair ajar, and then jump on the chair or the lab, jump on
the counter.
No, it was Junkyard. Junkyard was the one eating it.
Okay.
And jumped on the table and just went to town, right? Because this dog has no dogs have limits. Dogs will keep eating if you keep them food. They will not stop eating. Right. And that was the case for my dog apparently. And I didn't. I really should have went out in the backyard and looked for these massive dumps he took out there.
Yeah, no
but,
kidding. 24 burritos.
But I tell my mom, I go, I found the dog. Junkyard, I'm pretty sure it was Junkyard. Junkyard got on the table and ate all the bean burritos. And I'm looking at her, and she goes, oh, and walked away from me.
No apology.
No apology. My mom's never apologized to me in my entire life.
About anything?
About anything. Like, I can't think of a single.
Wow.
I mean, maybe like a real, like a nothing thing.
Which,
but
to be honest,
big.
the fact that you are able to apologize is massive, because if that's usually something it's learned. You know what I mean? The ability to but show
when
empathy
you grow up
and
that way,
and
it's like, nah, I'm not gonna be like that. You know, like I don't raise my child even close to how I was raised. Like,
and I think everyone goes from that place where they go. And obviously your scenario is a little more unique in the sense that there's probably less you want to take from what it sounds like your parents. But like every one of us though have to acknowledge, like, okay, so there's some things my parents did, they tried, and then there's some things that like I want to implement from them. And there's a bunch I don't.
I take
and
a
it's
lot
like
of stuff my mom did.
and you're just like you're taking and you're trying to
but let's not bury the lead here.
Yeah.
24 bean burritos.
I think that's gonna be the title of this podcast.
205 pound John ate 24 bean burritos, and my mom couldn't even entertain the possibility that it wasn't me. And even Joey Chestnut could not do that.
Even Joey Jaws Chestnut, no, he could actually.
No, he could not.
No, he could.
Bean burritos.
He's ate.
By the way,
57
with refried beans.
He ate 57
hot dogs,
foot-long hot dogs and
hot
buns
dogs
in 10 minutes.
57 hot dogs.
Dude, I guarantee there's more mass in 57 hot dogs than those 24 bean burritos.
No way, because the bean burritos are way denser. They're way denser.
I don't think so.
There's no way, dude. There's no way.
Oh, we gotta reenact it. I'm calling Joey. I want to get Joey here.
These were not like.
Hey, well let me say hold on, John.
These weren't mini burritos.
John, understand something. If your dog could eat them, Joey Chestnut could eat him because Joey Chestnut could eat a dog under the table. This guy actually
dude.
mows wieners for a living. This guy eats.
Joey
Joey
That was
Chestnut.
down the wieners.
He literally just plows through them.
What was so
This
you
guy-
went on this crazy Joey Chestnut
Oh,
jag
I'm a huge fan.
irritated
He's the
the
goat.
hell out of me.
I know.
And Uncle
He's
Dan
the goat.
Uncle Dan was at Chili's with us when you were
By the
doing
way,
it.
Uncle Dan called me the other day. We
Yeah.
had a conversation about this. He goes, my wife the other day, we drove by Chili's, and she's like, I bet Clint would. I just like, it's so funny. I'm like forever
So
connected
just to be
Chili's.
clear, when we're at the National, let's say we're there 6th night, we eat at Chili's 5 times.
Every night we're not getting food given to us for
Yeah,
free. We're
Southern
eating at Chili's.
Party and then 5 nights at Chili. And then of course I want to go to Steak and Shake and get ice cream.
Yeah, we did that once. That was fun.
And
It wasn't
I went
Chili's
twice,
good,
but
but-
whatever. but it's like
Joey
so you're what was funny was so you went on this big Joey Chestnut jag, and then we were watching ESPN, and it was Antonio Brown with his blonde hair and and Uncle Dan goes, he looks like a guy that likes to chow wieners. I was like, what? It was just so random,
was
and
so good.
I die and laugh. And
Just hilarious.
my roommate Lucky,
Yeah.
he would always say stuff like that. It didn't really make sense, but it was hilarious. He would just say things, and
This
then
guy's just
by the way, Lucky's coming to the National. You're gonna have
nice.
to do
Let's
her.
go. So the
again.
question is, could Joey Chestnut? I'll look it up.
No,
Joey
no,
Chestnut has
24 bean
Joey
burritos.
Chestnut has won a bean burrito eating contest. I guarantee it.
Full-size
He's
bean
probably
burritos.
the world. He's probably the world champion
No.
at eating bean burritos.
Just to be clear, the way
Yeah,
my mom
full
made them,
size.
she didn't like.
Hold on a second. Are we talking like Chipotle size? Like full
No,
on?
no,
like,
no,
okay,
not
okay,
that big.
okay, not
No,
that
like a regular tortilla,
Yep.
but it's full. It's not like a
Yeah,
smear.
It's not a, yeah.
It's not a smear of refried
But
beans.
but John, understand how big was this dog? Did you have like a Great Dane?
No, it's
Or
he
did
was
two
se-
of the-
He was 75, 85
How
pounds.
did he not throw that
He's
up?
a,
That's
oh, he probably did. We probably let him outside, and he probably took massive dumps and barfed, and we didn't notice.
But John,
But we pick up poop like once a week.
were you?
Oh,
Are you
by the
telling
way-
the truth, John, or are you lying to me about this?
By
Do you
the
want
way-
to come clean on those 24? Did you eat
I ate
12?
20.
Did you leave him
I ate
12?
The dog ate the other 12.
Did you
I was like,
split
thank
them?
God for the dog. He bailed me
He
out.
bailed me out.
My mom wanted bean
That's the
burritos for the
best.
next 2 weeks, and I
That's
ate,
the
I
best.
ate, I ate, I ate 17 of them.
Nice.
She would have been mad, and no, not only that, I told the dog to come over
Yeah,
here
you're like,
because I had to empty it, or
yeah,
else
you
she
had,
would
you had to
believe it.
cover up the evidence.
Oh,
right?
oh
it's
God,
so
I
good.
can never say that.
Can you imagine
I'm
the
sure that's what he did.
the complexity?
But no, I guarantee that dog just was. But dogs will not. Well, dogs will eat till they barf. They
Yeah,
just
yeah,
they
oh,
just will.
they'll even eat their own.
And so
vomit,
I'm sure what happened was
fun.
the dog snarfed him.
Yeah.
I don't get to say snarf very often.
Snarf is
The
fun.
dog snarfed him down, and I'm sure my mom, because she was already at the door, told the dog to come to the door, and she let him out on the lead. And he
Right.
barfed and crapped.
Yeah.
I'm
makes
sure
sense.
that's what happened.
Yeah.
And then, anything.
The fact that she
24.
was more likely to immediately assume you ate him than the dog
Now,
is,
here's the thing.
is very
I-
mind-boggling.
The only
John,
thing,
what were you like as a kid?
No,
Were
but
you
the
like,
only thing I can say is, to her credit, there really was no other possibility. To her, right? I'm the only person in the house. And we didn't entertain the dog, right? And so I'm the only person in the house, so who
Wow.
else could it be?
I guess.
I mean, it wasn't aliens, it wasn't, evil leprechauns.
They didn't
or,
disappear.
Or what's the other one? Friendly
Friendly elves?
elves or evil leprechauns.
And the
It was
neighbors
that.
didn't break in and eat. They
Yeah,
didn't,
you know, so,
they didn't
I mean,
have a squatter. By the way, I heard. By the way, I just heard.
credit. I mean, fair now.
By the way, a guy in Prior Lake. I just heard a story. A friend of mine woke up one morning the other day
Yeah.
to a stranger sleeping in his
Oh,
house,
you hear that story from time to time.
and citizen arrested him with a gun, a cold barrel to his head.
Whoa.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if a guy broke into my house, like, yeah, I mean, he's sleeping, like, hey,
Yeah,
buddy,
usually people are drunk or high,
I don't.
and then they get disoriented and they just walk in the house.
He's walking around. If I woke up and there was someone sleep, by the way, I had some friends in college who they were newly married. The first 6 months. This is not to make everybody afraid. They went to bed one night.
Yeah.
Their door was unlocked to their living room. They woke up in the morning, and their entire living room was emptied.
Whoa.
All the furniture got stolen. They never even woke up, which is probably a good thing. Like
Oh,
at that point, you don't necessarily need to want to wake
that
up.
would happen in my house.
That is-
we want to hit. Kirby might wake up.
Could you imagine waking up in the morning
You're like, wait, what
and
happened?
your whole house gets like all the furniture's
Oh,
gone,
how
and you're
about
like,
this? The wife goes, "What'd you do last night?" And the husband's like, "What'd you do last night?"
I ate 24 bean burritos, is what I
had
did
24 bean burritos and I sold all of our furniture. Take that, lady.
to pay for the burritos.
Like those burritos are expensive.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's just, but yeah, that was the one where I'm sitting here in my room going, what's happening?
Wow.
What do you think I did exactly? Do you understand the craziness of
Do you understand the physics
Now
of that
here's
is
the thing.
difficult?
I didn't think of the dog either.
Wow.
I didn't
It
think
took
of
you
the dog
until
either.
you saw him eat.
Yeah, until I saw him on the table. I saw him on the table. I was like, oh.
When you told me the story the first time, immediately I thought of a dog because I've
No,
seen the family I used to live with had a dog who would do that same thing.
Well, yeah, but you get what I'm saying? Like, I didn't entertain the dog. My mom didn't entertain the dog. So
Yep.
I know I didn't eat him.
Right.
She knows she didn't eat him. So
Yep.
it must have been me. I know I didn't eat him. I didn't think my mom ate him. But
I mean, I remember a dinner where the father had cooked all the salmon, and he was letting it cool on this huge center island, and it was
Yeah.
like elevated, and like somebody turned their back, and the dog literally went up
Oh, yeah.
on all fours
oh, they don't mess
and
around.
ate the entire thing before anyone could stop.
They
It was
don't
like,
mess around,
wow, that was
This
intense.
is like food done. No,
Done.
what's funny about my dog was we taught my dog to only eat when we said okay.
Okay.
That was the only thing we taught him to do. He was the
Mm.
worst behaved dog ever. But what we could do is we would hold stuff out to him, and he would not take it from our hands until we said okay. And he
Wow.
would drool and drool and drool. And so every once in a while, because we would constantly reinforce that, we
Mhm.
don't know, and he was really good about it, right?
Mhm.
And but every once in a while, I'd put a piece of I was eating a hot dog and take a piece and put it down. And I'd train him for
Mhm.
like I'd make him wait 20 seconds. And I go okay, but he wouldn't like hear me.
Mhm.
And I'm watching TV, and then like 15 minutes later, there's a pool of drool. I'm like, okay, eat it. Like just a massive pool of drool. This dog was,
Wow.
but when nobody's there,
Wow.
I'm just gonna get on the table and eat the bean burrito.
That's
So
right.
he ate 20 bean burritos.
Wow.
So this
Do you
episode
got anything else? How are we
has
doing,
been
Evan?
full of one last topic before we go. The Wisconsin Dells show.
Yes. I just got an email and got on today and booked a table and a hotel room. Wisconsin Dells, May 14th through the 16th, is hosting
3
a
days.
regional show. The Kalahari Indoor Water Park has a standalone convention center at. It's not like part of the hotel. I think you might be connected, but it's its own
No.
building. They actually created a website. Just Google Wisconsin Dells Sports Card Show.
Yeah.
They're pitching it as this big regional show.
Yeah.
They're going to do one in May and I think one in August.
Oh, really?
And
Very cool.
I heard
Really,
the
August.
number they're shooting to get 500 tables filled.
Well, they're gonna get one more tonight.
So they're getting one more. They're getting one from me. I think it's a great opportunity. Now it's not quite summer to the point where I think Wisconsin Dells is going to have all these tourists. It's
Oh,
early
that's
in
nice.
May,
That's
which is
nice.
actually nice because
Yeah.
when the warmer the weather gets, the less people want to be inside at a sports card show. But
Yeah.
I think this is a cool opportunity where people can go on a vacation,
Yeah.
have the family. Like a bunch of the dealers I know that are going to set up are bringing their families.
That's what you said.
And so
you
then
were
you can
like,
go
you
to the
were like,
water
yeah, they
park.
bring their
Yeah.
wives. I'm like, okay. And then like, it's a water park. I'm like, okay. And then the kid can go to the water park while you're at the show. I'm like, oh, that's a great idea.
And then you can go join them.
It took
And
me
you
a
know,
little while to grasp
So,
that, like bean burritos.
it sounds like it's going to be really well attended. Tables are $300 for dealers.
Yeah,
now,
so
now
it's
one, now the
kind of
one
an
down,
affordable
and
table.
I do want to get your thoughts on this. They are charging an admission,
That's okay. If it's
and
that
obviously
big,
they have that
if
big.
it's that
They
big,
have that
it's
big
fine.
of a cost. So now so the way it's going to work is Thursday night
Yeah.
and Friday morning are set up. Dealer to dealer Friday morning. They let the public in at 2 p.m. on Friday
Okay.
through Sunday, and so I mean it could be
So,
good. I mean with how the local
do you
shows are
think?
going.
Do you think? Are you driving down Wednesday then?
No, I will probably go. I have a hotel room Thursday night, so we'll go Thursday night, set up
real
Friday morning.
early
Late.
Thursday?
Oh, no, Well, I mean, I don't even know if I'll
Well,
set
the
anything.
Dells isn't that far.
I'll-
though. Not
it's
from
like what,
Minneapolis.
4 hours, five maybe.
No, Chicago's 6.
So it's like 3.
3.
Three.
Some change.
3
Yeah,
and
I don't
okay.
think it's quite 4.
So it's about halfway to
Because
Chicago.
when we get to Wisconsin Dells, we're not really almost to Chicago yet.
No, right.
I think maybe halfway.
Well, and so the cool part is you have Minneapolis, you have Chicago,
You
you
have
have
Des Moines,
Milwaukee,
all of
you have. It's a good central location actually
That's
for
right.
all
People
of.
come up from St. Louis for it.
Yeah.
St. Louis isn't very far away.
And To be honest,
Omaha.
I don't even know right now if there's a monthly show at all in Wisconsin. So it's an opportunity.
There's probably small ones, but nothing of.
I mean, when I got guys who go and set up at Dallas, which I'm going to be in Dallas the week after,
Oh, nice.
with a booth. When those guys were excited about going to the show, I was like, I guess so what they're pitching it as, it's kind of replacing what used to be the Fanatics show in Chicago at the same location as the National that would be happening about the same
fair
time.
Enough. So yeah, they would have the
It's-
spring and the fall.
Spring and the fall.
Regional.
Exactly.
They would have the July national.
And so I would even assume there's a chance we're going to see like PSA and Beckett and
I
JSA and
I
all
bet.
the, you know what I mean? Not just dealers, but all the
Yeah,
companies.
I'm gonna go right when we get off air.
Off
We're
air.
gonna.
We're on it. So if you
We're
guys are
gonna-
in Wisconsin, you're in the, the
Midwest,
5-state
yeah.
Midwest area,
Oh, even
check it
Sioux Falls,
out.
that's not the same.
And the website's amazing, easy to get on, vendor
Very
sheet,
cool.
scan it, send it to them, all
And
the
let's
questions
be clear,
answered.
Let's
Yeah.
be clear. $300 for a table for a good sized show is really affordable.
Oh, it's
So that's a
you're,
that's a blip of your sales.
you're $100 a day.
Yeah, I mean that's
And
whatever.
the other thing is they have a deal for dealers through the website. You can get a hotel room at the place for $150 a night that includes 2 wristbands to the water park.
Yeah, so your kid, kid and mom.
Yeah, so it's
And then
perfect.
You're at the show.
So
Yeah, I'm definitely.
so
doing
it's
that.
it's a busy calendar month. So we have April 10th, a week from this Saturday is the Bloomington show. The following week is the Maplewood show.
Okay.
A week off, then I think the St. Francis show. There's almost a show every week from now through
So
Dallas.
let's be clear. If you're out of state, one of the things too is, and I got no research to back this up, but I think Minnesota and the Twin Cities is one of the best card markets in the country
Yes,
per capita.
absolutely, I agree.
And yeah, when the hobby spikes up, we're ready to go. We're ready to do it.
Yeah.
All right. This was I don't know. Fun is kind of depressing for half the show, but opportunities. We're gonna make some improvements at the shop.
Yes, and we're gonna try to avoid eating 24 bean burritos.
Yeah, don't eat 24 bean burritos. You will
The
get
moral
sick, and
of
your
the
mom will
story,
yell at
and
you.
Your mom will yell
Thanks
at you.
everybody for listening. We really
Have a
appreciate it.
great week.